Welcome back, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope everyone had a phenomenal Labor Day weekend. I know I did. Man, it was a good one. It really, really was a good one. We will talk about how since we left, the Padres are 3-1, so that's good. The Rally Roach is here. Let's get this out of the way right now. Give that little guy a smooch. Really been
no
coming,
game today, but
coming
we still
through.
kiss the Rally Roach.
Yeah. Because of the rallies of the weekend, you just want to keep the good vibes moving. In here, certainly. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's good to be back.
It's great to be back. We needed it, man. We were on fumes on Friday. When I got out of here, I was on absolute fumes. And, man, it was just a great weekend all around. Let's jump across the pond for a couple of reasons this morning. Number one, I woke up this morning dreaming about Welsh Fryer. It was what woke me up this morning. Our buddy Tom is his name, and he is from Wales, and we've had him on the show before. He has arrived in America, and it's like the Beatles have arrived. It's like, remember when the Beatles showed up, and they show, like, the videos of the girls screaming, and they're like, hey, yeah, no, we're here. This kid has invaded my brain, and I woke up this morning I was like, I can't remember what it was, but I woke up, I was like, freaking Welsh Fryer is in my brain again.
He's the Fab Fryer.
He's the Fab Fryer. So I woke up and I'm like, all right, my DMs this weekend went bananas. Hey, are you guys going to have Welsh Fryer in? Is Welsh Fryer? I go, yes, it's all good. Like, if you were on our member stream the other night, you already know we got him taken care of with batting practice through our people at the Padres. Again, I'll say this. Don't ask me for this. He's Welsh. He gets this. You're not Welsh, so you don't get it. But they come across the pond. He's with his family. But this dude's been on my brain all freaking weekend. And I woke up this morning, first thing, going, oh, man, Welsh Fryer. I got to make sure he's dialed in. So Welsh Fryer's going to be in tomorrow. He's going to be hanging out with us and, doing his thing. And but it was great because I pulled up the rundown this morning, and I saw that today is National Welsh Rarebit Day. And I'm like, did Paulie misspell rabbit? And I don't know what rarebit is.
You don't remember Stouffer's frozen Welsh rarebit?
No.
Oh, my mom used to get it all the time when I was a kid.
Is that the way that the Welsh say rabbit?
No,
like,
it's
rarebit.
not. It's not rabbit. It's a cheese. It's like a beer cheese sauce, and they put it on toast. And you would just you just melt it and you put it on a piece of bread, and it's like cheese bread. Like a cheese sauce bread. It's like beer cheese, but from Wales. And they call it Welsh Rarebit. And for some reason, I used to have this frozen when I was growing up. I just pull it out of the freezer, I'd melt it, put it on bread, and eat my Welsh Rarebit.
It looks good. I think I would pass on it because of the name.
Just cheesy Texas toast?
Cheesy, beery Texas toast, essentially. I think there might be a little Worcestershire sauce in the recipe.
Okay, all right.
It's not something you see a lot nowadays. It's not on a ton of menus, but it's not bad. It's got a good sharp cheddar, so it's got that kind of tanginess to it. I remember liking it a lot, and then it just disappeared. I don't even know if they sell it anymore. The Stouffer's company just said, no one's buying this. Probably because the name, because they think it's rabbit.
I thought it was rabbit. And I'm like, just because you weirdos in Wales call rabbit rarebit, I'm not eating it. There's no way. And I'm certainly not eating Stouffer's brand of rabbit. You might be able to give me a bite if we go to a really nice restaurant. But if you're like, hey, Hungry Man's got a new Welsh Rarebit, we want you to try, there's no way.
Welsh Fryer's like, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rarebit.
So I didn't know what the hell was going on. But this kid's in my brain. He's coming in tomorrow. We'll see him this week. He's a good kid, man. And it is kind of wild watching him really discover all of the things that we take for granted here in San Diego living here. I mean, he's just like, I can't get over it. Look at this. Here's a Trader Joe's. I mean, it's like taking Ben on a trip to another city, and he's just, oh, my God, look at that. There's a Starbucks. Right? Oh, Applebee's. Oh, Burger King. It was.
I'm going to attach a GoPro to this man when we go to Philadelphia.
You have to. Oh, you have to. You just have to.
There's cheesesteaks over there.
No, there's not a cheesesteak.
Geno's.
Like on his hat or something.
Oh, they have a Vaughn's here. Wow.
No, look at that. Oh, Piggly Wiggly. I mean, it is like driving in the car with Ben, and I imagine Welsh Fryer is pretty much the same thing. So, welcome to town, Welsh. We'll have you in tomorrow, and looking forward to getting that and taking care of business and hanging out with that kid, but hearing about how it's all gone. Obviously, the Padres have been playing really well. We've got 4 games to talk about. We have plenty of time to do it. We could be here till 10.
But what about your story from across the pond?
Oh, God. So it finally, it happened. You heard, and you've probably seen if you're on any social media of any sort, that the Oasis reunion's a huge, huge deal. A worldwide phenomenon right now. And I managed to get a ticket.
Now, I saw that on social media, and I was shocked and a little offended that you didn't text me and Paulie right away going, I got a ticket. I had to wait and see it
2 days later.
I had to wait and see it on Instagram. Going, wait, did you get a ticket to Oasis for your birthday next year, your 50th? And he goes, yeah, I did. And I'm going, I can't believe he didn't text us within 8 seconds, because anything else happens to this man.
It's true.
He texts the two of us within 10 seconds of it happening.
It was wild. I didn't get in the pre-sale.
So if it was me, you'll find out 3 months later.
For sure.
Yeah,
I'd be like, you're going the day of?
Then I'll be like, I already went.
I went. It was amazing. They crushed it. So I woke up. So I did not get in the pre-sale. I never got the email code and everything. So I was pretty bummed. Now, I had forgotten that there was a general on sale, but I would have had to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had forgotten about that. So I went to bed, Friday night. Just kind of bummed that I didn't get it, and thought to myself,
it's too bad you don't know anyone who normally gets up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, she sleeps in on the weekends. Lucky me. So I woke up, though, Saturday morning at about 5, and I reached over and I grabbed my phone, and my buddy Craig, he goes, happy birthday, dude. I got you a ticket. I mean, I still paid for it, but happy birthday, dude. I got us a ticket. You're in.
Not Craig Elston.
Not Craig Elston.
Okay.
Me and Craig Elston are not going. It's my buddy Craig Glover.
Okay.
And Craig got up. Now, he knew a guy, a ticket master, that said, try this code. And he put in a code. All of a sudden, he jumps to the front of the queue-ish. And he said, took about 45 minutes. Both of his credit cards got declined at first. They thought, he started freaking out. He's like, well, I'm not a UK. I don't have a UK credit card. He started losing his mind. It's the American Express pre-sale or whatever. He uses his American Express. Go figure. Gets right in.
Don't leave home without it.
Gets me a ticket. So I'm like, yeah. So I wake up at 5. No one's awake. So I'm dancing around my house, pretty excited. Well, then the part comes where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let's look at hotel and airfare. Airfare, I expect to pay a decent amount. I'm probably also I'm not going to go business class because that's like $15,000. But I'll go preferred, seating and everything else and have a nice seat. Start looking at hotels. And I go, guess these guys realize that 80,000 people are going to be in town to see this show. The rates were exorbitant.
They've got you by
the short and curlies, dude. And so I'm sitting there looking, going, oh, my God. So I FaceTime my parents, let them see the kids, and I tell them, hey, I did get a ticket. My dad goes, hey, I got some Hilton points. I'm probably not going to use them. Let me see what I can do. So I give him the Hilton, send it over. And he calls back. He goes, they want 90,000 points and 518 pounds a night. And I go,
now, normally 90,000 points, that could get you rooms for several nights.
Of course.
Without paying any money at all.
Of course, with $0.
Yeah.
So, man, I said, never mind, Dad. Then he did his thing. He's starting to look way outside of town. And I had another person, our pal Darren Smith, who was looking for a ticket as well. Didn't get one. Darren said, dude, just stay in Liverpool. And I said, okay, let me look at that. So the rooms were fine. And then you said, why don't you stay here? It's Newcastle. So the rooms are fine, right? Here's the problem, though. You have like an 18-hour flight. Then you land in Manchester. And then you're like, oh, cool. Let me jump on a train for an hour, which is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You're there. You've
That's
arrived.
What they do over there, though. They ride the trains all the time.
Which is fine.
You'd be like a normal English person.
I mean, but when I fly that far, I just want to be where I'm at.
I get
and
it.
we're talking about saving maybe $500 in the span of 3 days. But then think about this. So that's fine. You get to your hotel, you check in. The very next morning, I'm back on a train for an hour. Then I go to a show, 80,000 people. Guess where they're going? They're getting on a train. I got to get on a train. I go back an hour. Then when I fly out in 2 days, back on a train, I'm like, I'll just spend the $500 or extra to stay at a nice hotel in Manchester. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But man, they're getting me, dude.
It is a nice hotel.
This is like payback.
Well reviewed.
Well, so this is like payback for the Boston Tea Party, I think, at this point. They're really sticking it to us. But so I go on Travelocity and I start looking and I'm like, oh, this one looks okay. It says 8.0. Very good. Now, all I kept thinking in my mind is Ben's booking this one. This is like 300 pounds a night. And I'm like, Ben's booking it. It says 8.0. Then you start looking at the pictures and you're like, that was built in the 1800s. Like these are dumps.
That's new over there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we built this in 1911 and it's brand new. So I get over and I start to look and I go, Hannah, get in here. And she goes, don't do it, man. She goes, do not do it. 8.0, she goes, do you not remember when we were in Paris? We left England a couple days early to go to Paris. We had a room set up, but we needed like 2 nights. So she gets on her phone and starts looking. She goes, look at this one, 4 stars. It looks really nice. I go, that does look good. We booked this 4-star hotel. Bro, there were like junkies. It smelled like real cheap perfume. It was a dump. I mean, we had to get hammered just to spend the night there for 2 nights. It was a dump, and this was super highly rated. So the Europeans, they do it a little different over there. They got me spun out. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Not that different. 8 of 10 would be 4 of 5. If you get an Uber driver who only gets 4 of 5, that's pretty much a red flag that you're getting in the back of a serial killer's car.
I feel like
they don't have like 5 of 5. You are in a lot of trouble getting into someone's car, right?
I feel like
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
if you saw a hotel and they're like 8 out of 10 stars, would you think that was okay? This was 4 stars. I'm like, this is a 4. You hear 4-star hotel, super nice.
So a 4-star hotel is a classification of hotel based on what amenities they offer. They probably have a restaurant and a gym facility, maybe a pool. It's more resorty.
This was not resorty.
A 3-star hotel would be more of your like Hampton Inn, a little more business traveler, kind of less bells and whistles. Obviously, a 5-star hotel would then be complete like a luxury resort. But then the reviews beyond that, like you can go to a 5-star hotel that people are disappointed in,
yes,
or a 3-star hotel that really nails everything they're supposed to nail.
That's true.
It's a totally different process between what kind of hotel it is, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and then how good inside its own classification it is.
And McKee says it's metric star ratings. Yeah, everything's on the metric system over there. So their 4 is really like 1.5. So I don't know where I'm going to stay, but I will figure it out. Hannah, my beloved, was like, just book it. It's your 50th. You don't want to do it half-ass on your 50th. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to end up overpaying for a hotel, but I'll be close to the venue and be in the scene. But I was really happy and excited, man, and I've got it. It's 319 days away. I have a countdown. 300. I got a lot of
days to be excited and look forward to it.
Man. Somebody said stay at a hostel. Yes, I'm going to stay at a hostel with a bunch of kids sharing a bathroom. Hey, good morning, Mike. How's it going? You excited for the show? Me too. But that's where I'm at right now. But I am really stoked to I feel like I got the hard part out of the way, getting the ticket.
Well, speaking of fun countdowns to things we're all excited about, it is now magic number season for your San Diego Padres.
Boy.
We will talk about the weekend that was. We had 4 games, as Wood said, since we've last joined you, including a fairly notable occurrence yesterday with the return of Fernando Tatis Jr.
It's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Welcome back, Nando. Good to see you back on the field. Saved all your spectacularness for another day, but that's okay. Padres got the dub yesterday. We will set the menu for a Tuesday program. Should be a busy one today. I don't know that we'll be able to get to everything we missed over the last 3, but we will try, and we will start when we come back with Ben and Woods, Kelly's Traffic, and then off we go on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Benjamin, before you set the menu, I wanted to read this little note that we got. And we all got new shirts, and we'll show them on the camera here pretty soon. But got a note this morning with a package. Love the show. You guys have kept me entertained in the AM since you got rolling. Hope you stick around for another 30 years. No, not happening. SD is lucky to have you all. Enjoy the teas. Remember, when in doubt, bring in the ass. It never fails. Our buddies over at the Podfathers podcast have sent us these really cool ass shirts. So now we've got multiple ass shirts. Thank you, fellas. The Podfathers podcast. I have not listened to it. I promise I will give it a listen, but I just gave it a plug. So everyone check out the Podfathers podcast, and these shirts are badass, dude.
Have you been on the Podfathers?
I have not. It's one of the few I have not been on yet.
They're very cool.
They're very cool.
I'm not sure I'm going to wear a shirt.
Come on.
I didn't realize we all got different ones.
Yeah, we got different ones.
City Connect.
I got like a cream City Connect.
I like your color.
I do too.
It's very nice.
Brown
I like my
gold.
color too.
Early bird gets the
I got
worm,
the retro orange and gold 1990s Padres,
which is awesome.
Colors, which is cool.
I got I took that one because I was here first, and so early bird gets the worm.
You are always here
I'm
first.
always here first. So.
That's how it works.
But thank you for these. These are awesome.
Thank you. We have a bit of a lineup shuffle to get to here as we set the menu. Of course, we'll get to our Padres wrap-up in our next segment. We'll start with yesterday's performance, the return of Fernando Tatis Jr., Joe Musgrove on the mound, all of that coming up in our next segment in our Padres wrap-up. We'll continue thoughts on the Padres taking 2 of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays while we were gone over the weekend. Nice little response after losing those back-to-back games to the St. Louis Cardinals. Not that we were panicked, but, we just don't want to see a 5-game losing streak. That's not what happened. They once again, as they have done every single time, especially since the All-Star break, put their foot down, any even hint of we're slipping a little bit. No, just turn it right back around in the proper direction. So we'll talk about that weekend series. Got a brand new prize for you. Take on Woods. It is a new month. Chance to qualify for a getaway for 2 to the Win or Encore Las Vegas. We'll tell you about that with Take on Woods coming up at 7:10. Woodsy's already excited about DDT and one of the stories he's got there. College football related.
It's unreal, man.
Then at 7:35, our normal Monday guest, Sam Levitt, is going to join us on a Tuesday, but it's kind of like a Monday because, of course, we weren't here yesterday. But he'll be here with us at 7:35 to talk about the whole weekend. He did all the pre- and the post-game shows. That's because Jesse is actually moving to tomorrow. So our weekly incorporator is going to happen, correct, tomorrow?
Yeah.
With Jesse? Okay.
We specifically picked Tuesdays 5 years ago with Jesse because they play
every Tuesday.
99.9% of Tuesdays. They may not have a game on Monday,
right,
but they will always have a game on Tuesday.
So
not this week.
Whether it's a 2-game series, a 3-game series, it always will land
series?
like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday is pretty much the 4 guaranteed days. Wednesday's pretty solid too, but those are the ones that you're like Paul said, 99.9% sure Padres will play on those days.
So we can give him an incorporator where, maybe he could just, while he's cooking dinner tonight, he can work in an
with
incorporator.
the family.
There's no game, though.
But there's no game.
So my 6-year-old asked me, wait, why are they playing today and not tomorrow? And I said, all I know is they just got off of a gnarly road trip. 18 games in 18 days. Don't know if you guys have heard us mention that yet. 18 games in 18 days. And then today is going to be a day off. And Bo goes, but they still play the Tigers. I go, uh-huh. And he's like, so what does everybody do? I said, well, I think if you're the Padres, you go home and sleep because you have to be absolutely dragging ass.
I like 18 games in 18 days.
Yeah, you're the only one that liked 18 games in 18 days. So I know yesterday, obviously you want to put people in the ballpark when you can on a day like yesterday. It's just weird to have the off day today.
It is.
Do they do this a lot? Am I missing?
No, it's rare, but because it was such a long stretch, players' union mandates you can only go a certain number of days in a row.
And they could have taken yesterday off.
They could have taken and just done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That would probably be what would have happened had it not been a holiday. But because it was Labor Day, you know that they're going to get a good crowd at the park. They decided, let's do the game on Monday and then put the off day on Tuesday. I think the Tigers probably happy to be in San Diego for an extra day, just sitting with a day off. They both get 2 nights off. They get last night off and tonight off. Don't
Yeah.
have to play again until Wednesday night. It really is a nice break for everybody here at the start of September for a team that badly needs a break after a stretch, not just of 18 and 18, but 27 games in 28 days.
Yeah, man, that's the other thing we forget. You know, you had that one off day in there, Benny, and hopefully the Tigers went out and really enjoyed San Diego hard. You know, go down, Kerry Carpenter and Spencer Torkelson. Hope you guys are hanging out in the gas lamp at Moonshine Flats, just pounding Rumpelmans and stuff, and really get you off your game, because the Tigers have come in playing really, really good baseball. And they scared the crap out of me yesterday on more than one occasion. A.J. Hinch doing the bullpen day was just kind of making my skin crawl yesterday, but came away with the dub. We'll talk about that one first.
Second half of the show, Reindl Report, we have some Padres tickets to give away to tomorrow's game, Game 2 of the series against the Detroit Tigers. It is also the City Connect hoodie giveaway. Your chance to get the first 40,000 fans getting a free City Connect hoodie, but you can win tickets coming up later in our program, so stay tuned for your chance to call in and win some Padres tickets on the show as well. But mostly, a lot of baseball talk. Maybe we'll mix in a little college football. Congratulations to your Irish.
Thank you. What a win. Holy smokes.
USC Trojans also had a big win over the weekend as well.
That quarterback looks good, man.
And after a very rough start, San Diego State did win their season opener on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. So
that was a little dicier than I'm assuming that the Aztec
horrible first half. Pretty good second half.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
We'll have all of that and more coming up for you as we work our way toward 10 o'clock and Annie and Elston. But we'll come back, play you the highlights of yesterday's 3-0 shutout win in our Padres wrap-up next with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. My colleague over here, Stephen Woods, always insists he's not a journalist.
No.
What do you call yourself?
I'm an entertainer.
An entertainer.
Yeah, I want to make people laugh in the morning. That's what it all boils down to.
So when you have breaking news, you just let other people break it.
For sure.
Which brings us to Sunday, when Woods' inside sources let him know that Fernando Tatis Jr. was going to be back on Monday. But you didn't break the news. You waited and let Kevin Acee do it yesterday. Great job, Ace Man.
Boy,
Had
Ace
a big
Man.
scoop yesterday, got everyone excited. But Woods, you could have broken that news. You had that news on Sunday evening.
I did. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon when the Padres were returning home from Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
You were...
It's not the first time you've
not the
gotten
first
this,
time at all.
and you won't break it.
He's
It
had-
drives Ben insane.
It really does.
You've had lots of news tidbits.
I tell you guys,
What's going to happen next time?
But I can't break it. It's not my source.
Ben
It's
just
your
runs
source.
with it.
No, I don't do that.
he won't do it.
I'm not going to steal someone's. It's up to you to decide whether you want to break it or not. And every time you decide, no, I'm just going to let another outlet get all the credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get paid for credit on Twitter, breaking stories on Twitter.
You don't, but it's promotion. Do you understand why people do it?
Are you
Because then
mansplaining to me?
every outlet like ESPN and Fox Sports and everywhere goes, according to 97.3 The Fan, Stephen Woods from the Ben and Woods program. And every story they write, that's promotional gold. But instead, you wait and you let someone else have that promotional gold. But fine, whatever. You're not a journalist. You're just an entertainer
Just
over
an
there.
entertainer, man. That's all I want to
if
do.
it's about money, like there are other platforms other than Twitter. We could have gone live on YouTube on Sunday and monetized that video, and I would have wrote you a check for like $10.
Yeah, it's not worth it to me. That would have meant I would have had to do a live stream and all that, middle of my day. Yeah, I just I think it's also, and I'll be completely honest with you, I think it's the fear of being wrong. And I told you, there's one man that ruined my chances ever at like wanting to do that and be a quote unquote journalist, and it's AJ Preller. When he would feed me stuff years ago, I haven't spoken to AJ in a long time. I have not. I was out the day you guys interviewed. I have not talked to that man in like a year. And so he would feed me some things, and I wouldn't run with them. So he kept feeding me a couple of things. And I have always been of the opinion that, I guess I could have tweeted some sources say that Fernando come back, but I think there's a fear of being wrong and look like an idiot too.
There is a risk always.
Which I don't like that.
You,
I'll make myself
your
look like an idiot.
sources are almost never wrong.
That's true. They're really good.
But I will say this. I think one of the reasons you get so much information
because I don't say anything
is that they know that you're not going to say anything.
I think that's probably
they just
right.
like you to be in the know, but
Which is weird.
You're not going to go run with it and spill the beans and blab to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see guys get dragged like the Rosenthals, the John Heymans. You see those guys get pounded and you're like, well, they're built for it. They're journalists. I'm not a journalist.
They're also right a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Teams just remember the one or two times they were wrong about their specific team. But over the course of 100 stories, they're probably right. I don't know, 96, 97%.
Let me ask you guys. If you had gotten the same thing, would you have tweeted it? What would you have done? I want to know like the steps because I get this stuff happens to me all the time, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling
probably,
you, like,
if I felt confident that it was accurate, I would say sources close to the team say that Fernando Tatis Jr. will return to the roster and the lineup on Monday. The team, this is not. The team has made no official announcements at this point, or something like that. Just kind of cover your bases a little bit.
So I'm thinking about some of the stuff I've had over the years, and it's gnarly. I had Trevor Bauer police report like 3 months before it came out. Like 3 months, somebody sent it to me, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Could have had Stephen Woods, co-host of Ben and Woods, all over every TMZ story.
Oh, and the thought of it is just too much. And then somebody had video of Trevor Bauer pre-game, like doctoring baseballs, like with literal. You could see him putting sticky stuff in his glove. It was pretty nuts. So I don't know, man. I think that's why I think that's why they tell me because they know I'm not going to spill the beans.
Ultimately, I don't mind. We knew that Tatis was close, and you obviously know the team will announce it when it's going to happen. Doesn't really change anybody's life to know it an hour or two before the team officially announces it. I don't know why the teams don't just, if they know it's going to happen, why don't you just break the news on Sunday? Why do you have to wait until you make the move? But they just don't. They want to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Like if something changed, you came down with a cold or
flu
something,
or
decided
something,
to wait another day. They don't want to, well, we told everybody, now we've got to do it. So they always wait until the last second.
Jose says, I have a feeling the Padres gave a bone to Woods for the Ben and Woods show, and I missed an opportunity. That could be it, too. But I really don't feel like I missed out on anything other than pretty...
Why else would your source tell you that?
I don't know.
Knowing we're not even having a show on Monday.
Dude, I really don't know.
Good point,
I
Paul.
really don't know, Paulie.
Other than they want that information.
The way my paranoid mind works is that I'm like, you're testing me. That's how I work. You're testing me. AJ Preller telling me on the sly 5 years ago, wait till I get Francisco Lindor. And I go, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I didn't tweet it. I didn't say anything. I told you guys, I was like, it's a test. I felt like he was.
But you passed the test. So then at some point, they want, okay, we were going to give you information. We want you to leak. Have you ever thought about the fact that, they actually
want some stuff to leak?
To leak out. So they give it to you because you
I'll be
passed
red.
all the tests. So you're the one they're going to give it to. But then you don't leak it out. You're watertight.
I am.
You're
man.
airtight over here.
I'm a vault, my friends. I am an absolute vault. So if you have secrets, tell them to me. All right. I didn't break that news, but he was back, and it was really nice to see him.
And we will talk about that one. Wrap it up. Our Padres wrap-up highlights coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Get a little busy on our roads, northbound side of the 805 before Home Avenue. Collision has been moved over to the right shoulder. Now up ahead near Balboa, we're getting reports of a possible brush fire, some smoke coming from some bushes over the right shoulder. And we've still got this rollover crash in the North County, northbound 15 before Villa Rancho Parkway. It's got the two left lanes blocked. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
2 outs, nobody on for their leading hitter, Matt Vierling. Swings to the first pitch, chops it over the mound. Near the bag at second, Bogarts has it. Long throw to first in time. Easy breezy. 1-2-3, top of the first for Joe Musgrove. 1-2, and Arise hits it on the ground into right field and a base hit. McCoy racing around third, going to score easily. Vierling's throw goes into second base. They gave him right field, and he took it. Padres lead it 1-0. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Musgrove comes back and gets 3 in a row. Tigers had first and second, nobody out. They do not score. They had him up on the board. He won a contest. Swing and a miss. Musgrove strikes out Young. That's number 6 for Joe. Got Torkelson to end the 4th. Now this guy to start the 5th. And 1 away. 1-run lead now, but a chance to add. 0-2 Arise on the ground through the left side and a base hit. Got it past Sweeney, who was drawn in. RBI single as Higashioka scores, and the Padre lead is now 2-0. Here's the pitch. Manny swings, hits it on the ground through the right side and a base hit. Arise comes in to score. RBI single, Manny Machado. A 3-0 Padre lead, and not a single man trying to do too much. Suarez is sad. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped into shallow left. Machado back, calling off Peralta. Manny on the move, gets there to make the catch, and the ball game is over. Padres make quick work of the Tigers on this Labor Day. A 3-0 shutout win. Joe Musgrove went 6, and then just like you draw it up. Adam in the 7th Scott in the 8th, and Suarez save number 31 here in the 9th.
It's impressive what he's done. It's very important that he's been back and doing what he's doing. It's now 4 straight outstanding starts for us. Again, hard-fought ball game. We were able to scratch a run with Luis getting a big knock, and Joe made it stand up through 6 and made big pitches in the 6 to get out of it. He's been fantastic, and it's a big part of our club, and he's contributing big time.
1.3 ERA for Joe in his 5 starts since returning from the injured list. He has given a big boost to a Padres starting rotation that needed it badly. And now tomorrow, the Padres are expected to get another big boost, activating Yu Darvish from the injured list to make the start in Game 2 against the Detroit Tigers. And we'll see what Yu looks like. All the reports have been good in terms of his bullpen sessions and good life. Obviously, getting into a game against major league hitters is a little bit different, but he's done it so many times in his career. He's such a veteran, and he'll have that same extra juice and adrenaline that I think Joe did coming in to pitch for a team that is fighting for a playoff spot and is one of the hottest teams. Still the best record in baseball since the All-Star break.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
That's correct.
Just a really, really nice game for Joe yesterday. And, you saw him getting in a little bit of trouble. I was watching with the whole family. And we always play the game at the house. All right, what do you do here? Bo, you leave him in, you take him out. He's at 89 pitches. Got runners on first and second. I think at the time it was a 1-0 lead. And you saw Morihone and Adam throwing in the bullpen. And I looked at Bo and I go, will you leave him in? You take him out. He goes, I'm leaving him in. I go, I'm leaving him in too. I want him to know, if I'm Mike Schilt, I believe in you. You have the stuff to get out of this inning. And that kind of trust goes a long way with a guy like Joe Musgrove. It really does. And so when he left him in and he whipped that yacker on that guy and froze him to death.
This was 2 outs in the 6th. Colt Keith at the plate. And as you said, the pitch count was approaching 90, and they showed Mike Schilt in the dugout. And I didn't think he was going to take him out.
I didn't either.
But they didn't even go to Ruben Abel. They just go, you've got this.
Yeah.
You're
Schilt gave
Joe.
some sign, and they went after it.
It was really a matter of fact, like, of course, you've got this. Go out, do your thing, make your pitch, and get it.
Oh.
And
it goes such a long way, Benny. Such a long way.
I mean, he was so frozen. That curveball was right down. I mean, it ended up as middle as you could get. I'm going, well, that's the easiest call the umpire will have all season on a called strike 3.
I mean, just whoop. The guy's just
And then they went to the bullpen, and ASS got it done. Adam, Scott, and Suarez as the Padres get the 3-0 win. 31st save for Suarez. They did. It was 1-0 until the bottom of the 8th.
Yep.
So every single batter was potentially the tying run, disaster, whatever, every single time. But they came through. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. went 0 for 4 in his return. A lot of quick at-bats, first pitch, second pitch, pop out.
Understandable, man.
Ground out. Did move the runners over in the rally in the 8th inning with a ground ball to the right side that helped score the extra run when Manny followed with an RBI single to make it 3-0. The moment, though, when Tatis ran out to right field and Petco Park absolutely exploded with his return. That's important for this team. That's an energy boost in a tough time at the end of an 18-game stretch that I fully believe, even though Tatis didn't really do anything, I think he had one fly ball come to him, it's still, that gives a lift to everybody just to have him back. And that's what players generally said. Xander, Jackson in the game beforehand, just having him back is just a great lift and a great feeling. And no offense to the guys he's replaced, Bryce Johnson, David Peralta, who was still in the lineup, moved over to left. You can give Jurickson a day off. Just having more bodies is a good thing down the stretch as well. But that was an emotional lift for your San Diego Padres.
I thought the fact that Jurickson gets a complete 2 days off is huge. I mean, he's been grinding pretty hard. He has said, this is the best year of my career. When you're having a good year, you get on base a lot. And when you get on base a lot, you run a lot. I'm very tired. So to be able to give him, Benny, a couple days off was pretty outstanding work by the Padres, picking each other up, and it's something they've done the entire season long. And Joe Musgrove certainly led the charge yesterday, pitching brilliantly. And again, they talked to him, which kind of go back and forth on the right after a start interview. What do you think about the right? I mean, he's in the clubhouse, headset on, and Mudd and Don are asking him questions about he just came off the mound 10 minutes ago. I liked it because he pitched well, right? You don't want to do it if they pitch bad, but I liked what he said about Higgy being able to locate his fastball, velo 94. I mean, he said, I'm not going to be a guy that blows a lot of guys away, but man, the way that they had guys guessing and the way they changed speeds, that new hybrid slider sweeper, whatever they're working on, is nasty. And Joe looks like an ace right now. Honestly, the way he's pitched since he's come back, he looks like an ace.
I'll actually tell you, but answering your question, and maybe I need the green boomer filter that you usually get, but I don't like any in-game interviews at all. I don't want to hear from the manager. I don't want to hear from the pitcher. I don't want to hear from the sideline reporter and chats. I just want to focus on the game.
On the game.
And I know
I liked having Joe immediately talking about the game that was at hand, the game that we were watching, rather than
it was pretty cool.
Tomorrow in the third inning, hey,
then
Joe
checking in.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about 48 hours.
I don't mind hearing him talk about that. I don't want to see it, though. I don't want a split screen. I don't want a little tiny box. I want the game to fill up the entire television screen. And I don't want to do the half. Joe's in one box, and then you got the little box of the game. Yeah, I know. It's not how it works anymore. I get it.
2 minutes, kid.
I get it. But, there was some good insight there. I'm looking at the tiny going, why are we watching on this little tiny inset now for the game? It's a one-run game. It's a hugely critical
playoff
game.
race, like the whole thing.
And we're doing an interview and watching the game on a little inset in the middle of the screen. It's not my favorite thing.
I liked the insight that he provided. But you could also see, I mean, bro, you want to talk about adrenaline. And he's like, yeah, so we spotted my fastball, 94. And, like, the adrenaline is still coursing through his veins after that. So I love the insight. I love how Higgy had those guys set up yesterday. And Joe executed brilliantly yesterday and has since he's gotten back. So, man, what a nice lift for the Padres yesterday.
The return of Ha-Seong Kim also appears to be fairly soon.
Okay.
Mike Schultz said he is throwing. He's been hitting. Just give him probably a couple more days. Got to again tip your cap to Mason McCoy. He
has had a rough run since he came on this show.
Well, he had 2 hits.
He did
2 days after that, and he had the big
bunt. The bunt was epic.
He had the swinging bunt that resulted in the first run of the game, and then he had the great bunt that really fueled the 2-run rally. So Mason McCoy may not ever be a superstar in the big leagues, but he has done everything they've needed him to do while Ha-Seong Kim is gone, and then probably a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And I think that is fantastic what they've gotten from him. So that ends the stretch, and we can talk a little bit about what the Padres did in their 18 games, in their 27 games in the last 28 days. We'll do that when we come back, and we'll play a little Take on Woods, brand new prize, trip to Las Vegas, encore, win. Really nice stuff. All coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10-8 doesn't sound like anything special in an 18-game stretch, but I'm here to tell you that 10-8 in August, in 18 games in 18 days, with what the Padres face travel-wise, trips to the East Coast, 4-game series, the heat and oppressive humidity of St. Louis, playing in a dome in Tampa, flights all over the place. I'm telling you, 10-8 isn't just acceptable. 10-8 is excellent.
It's excellent. It's absolutely excellent, man. It really is.
And I get that you lost ground to the Dodgers during that 10-8 stretch. You may have just kind of treaded water with the Arizona Diamondbacks. You lost ground to the Mets. You may have picked up a game on the Braves. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel great, but it really is, given the toughest part of the schedule for the San Diego Padres. And I just wanted to make sure that it was not overlooked. It also, by the way, if you go back to the 28 days, 27 games, 4 weeks ago today, the Padres were starting a stretch.
I think that's more important, the 27 games in 28 days, than just 18 and 18.
You know what?
No
record,
question.
Your record there?
18 and 9.
18 and 9.
That's fantastic, dude. That's fantastic. I mean, again,
that's almost unbelievable.
They're talking about it in AC. Kevin's talking about it in his newsletter this morning. You know, it could have been, as Manny said, make or break. It did have that feel, as Kevin mentions as well. But yeah, man, that's really good baseball. 18 and 10, 18 and 9. In that stretch of 27, that is good ass baseball. Period.
Kevin breaks it down too. Like, you forget. You honestly, we live so much day to day. Like,
yeah.
The 27 and 28 day stretch, it began with the rain delay in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Had to use 5 relievers that day. Their next 7 games were all within 1 run of each other in the 7th inning or later at some point. Then they played in Miami. They lost. Had to fly all the way back to San Diego. They won that next game. Then the Colorado series, they really endured a lot.
Altitude, not altitude because that was here, but
no, the Colorado.
That was in Colorado.
Colorado. Altitude, heat, travel was nasty. I'm so happy they're home right now. Hopefully, all still in bed, not getting out of bed until noon today at the latest. Stay in bed, relax. You guys have earned it, and really, really did more than keep your head above water in that stretch.
Now, it doesn't guarantee anything going forward, but the Padres have put themselves in a good position. And based on my calculations, their magic number is now 20 to clinch a playoff spot going into the last 4 weeks of the season. Now, people have pointed out, well, the Mets are only 4 games back, and you certainly can lose 4 games in 4 weeks. That's a game a week. You have not guaranteed yourself anything. But remember, it's not just the Mets who have to catch you. The Braves would also have to catch you, and the Diamondbacks would have to catch you. So if the Padres just played 500 ball the rest of the way, they're getting to 90 wins. If they play just a game above 500, they're getting to 92 wins. This is a very good spot to be in. They're not guaranteed anything, but remember, they just had their stretch. They've played more games than other teams, which means these other teams now, some of them have to make up rain games on one-day trips to, on a Monday the rest of the season. They're having stretches where they're just hoping to survive, and they're going, yeah, you know what? 10 and 8 looks pretty good over our next 18 if we can survive that. The Padres, meanwhile, have the day off today, 5 comfortable games at home to finish this homestand, a day off on Monday, a quick 2-game series in Seattle, not that bad of a flight, another day off next Thursday, and then a quick flight down to San Francisco for 3 more games, and then I believe another day off after that. They can get their legs under them while these other teams are now clawing and scratching and hoping to, tread water and fight.
They only have to leave California for the 2-hour flight up to Seattle and the 35-minute flight over to Arizona.
Yeah.
The rest of the season.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's big the rest of the way.
It's fantastic. And the way that these guys have played all season, how hard they've played all season, really deserves a hat tip from us and from the fans out there. They have really busted their tails. They've stayed together. You've not heard one ripple, not one ripple of any dissension or anything. No one's unhappy. There's guys that wish they were playing better, sure, but man, a lot of credit goes to those guys and of course, the manager and the GM as well for keeping this team together, keeping this team fighting. Again, if you can't really worry about right now, Benny, what the other teams do. If you handle your business like you're supposed to, you're going to the playoffs this year. And what's their record overall right now?
18 games above 500.
At what?
79 and 61.
79 and 61.
The three of us, a lot of people in this building, a lot of people outside this building, 81 and 81. They are 2 wins away from what everyone pretty much projected they would win. With how many games to play?
22.
Okay. 2 wins away from what everyone thought they would be. And we didn't know, hey, man, 500 may get you in. May get you in this year. It's not going to. I don't think so.
No,
so,
the National League has picked it up here in the second half.
They sure have.
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. And it's mostly the teams in our division. So I'm telling you, man, like, that is 2 games. You win 2 more games, and that's kind of what we thought was your ceiling this year. The ceiling now is obviously higher, but it doesn't take away anything they've accomplished so far to this point. They're in a good position. They're in a great position to make the playoffs. Like you said, all those things factor in with the days off, the rest. It's pretty amazing the run that they've gone on since the All-Star break.
Couple of open phone lines if you want to get in as a contestant for Take on Woods. We'll take a random caller here in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. If you're on hold, you can stay there, but we do have a couple of open lines if you want to try to get in. 833-288-0973. Trendwave TV on our YouTube chat says, thank you, Higgins, for pointing out Mason McCoy's importance yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I felt the same way. It's like, I will sacrifice, but I'm going to try to get my best to get on base. And you all knew that he was bunting there, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
I was like 100% sure
100% chance
that he was bunting in that situation.
No question.
The only people in the stadium I thought who didn't seem to be sure were the Detroit Tigers.
Where are you guys playing?
Exactly. I was like, you didn't know that was coming? Does anybody advance scout anymore and know what the tendencies are of their, Padres and their number 9 hitter in a 1-run game with a runner on second base?
It's the Padres. I mean, it's not enough for Steven Coronado, but there's been plenty of evidence presented throughout the season.
It was a really good bunt.
It's a great bunt.
And they may have, even if they knew it was coming, he might have still gotten a base hit on that one. It was an excellently laid down bunt.
But there's no way on any planet that third baseman shouldn't have been 10 feet in on the grass waiting for it.
Daring them to swing away.
I dare you to swing away. I dare you.
We want you to swing away. They should have known that bunt was coming. That was a mistake by A.J. Hinch.
100%.
And the Tigers in terms of scouting and preparation in that game.
Crazy. Caught him slipping, man. Caught him slipping, took advantage. Padres win that game. It was amazing.
It is amazing how those little things over the course of the season. You may advance scout, and it may not impact you for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
But one day, you may have the information that goes, yeah, they're going to bunt here.
Do you really need?
They're going to bunt here.
How much advanced scouting do you need to know he's dropping one down? Situation of the game, the inning, the whole thing. How much advanced scouting do you really, really need?
I mean, I would have bet my house
100%.
on the fact that Mason McCoy was going to bunt there.
Attempt at least, right? Didn't know he was going to get it down.
I don't know if he was going to down if he was going to get on base, but I was just so 100% sure that he was going to bunt there. I was stunned that there wasn't someone closer pinched in defensively for the Detroit Tigers.
You guys got to stop tweeting me after bunts like that. I like bunts like that. I know that's coming. I don't like Jackson Merrill squaring the sacrifice bunt in the 4th inning or Jurickson Profar in the 3rd. Those are the ones that drive me nuts because those are elite-type players and hitters. Mason McCoy, he's there to get that bunt down.
Is that but we'll talk about the Rays series coming up here, but is that now twice the Padres have had a batter square around a bunt at the start of an at-bat and end the at-bat with a multi-run home run
Correct.
instead.
Yeah, Jurickson and Jackson both have done it. I don't think either of them were deking the defense either, and they just didn't get it down. Then they hit a home run, which is what they've done at pretty prodigious rates this year.
All right, we will get to that series coming up. Don't do this well, but right now it is time with a brand new prize to take on Woods. All right, let's pick a line at random. Paulie, we go John. How about John? Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, you're our contestant. Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. I need to go in the next week or so. I just got that light popped on my car again for the oil change. Very easy. I live right by a Valvoline. All right, here is the brand new prize. How about this one? For the month of September, beat or tie Woods, you will qualify for a 2-night stay at the Wynn or Encore Las Vegas. That's fancy enough for me. And 2 tickets to see Awakening, the thrilling spectacle at Wynn. Dazzling audiences with soaring aerialists, bounding acrobats, high-energy choreography, and comedic moments. At the heart of this compelling story, a hero must confront the forces of light and darkness in a quest to save the world. A mythic adventure unfolds set amidst the most technologically immersive theater ever designed. Tickets are on sale now at awakening.com. I will not be reading that whole thing every single day this month, so take notes if you're interested in Awakening. That's our prize. You get to choose our category here today, John. Here are your choices. We've got Asian Nation, song titles that feature a single word ending in Asian, A-T-I-O-N. Little Shop of Horrors, song titles or musical artists beginning with the word little. And our new category, Hit or Miss, 5 song titles that begin with either the word hit or the word miss. So, Asian Nation, Little Shop of Horrors, hit or miss. John, what's it going to be?
Let's go hit or miss.
Hit or miss, the new category. Today's category, again, 5 song titles. They all begin with either the word hit or the word miss. Good strategy, because that can be a tricky one for Woods to figure out when they're not the same, when it's two different ones. But you know. So that should give you the advantage here, John. You have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as possible. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie is queuing it up now. You need to give me that title, starting with hit or miss, and the artist to score that point. John, are you ready to play?
Do it.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music in the category hit or miss. Good luck, John. Let's take on Woods.
Hit me with your best shot, Pat Benatar.
Correct. Which 1978 song with a 2-word title from their Some Girls album became the 8th and final #1 hit for the Rolling Stones in the United States?
Pass.
Margie Hendricks provided the female vocals for which 1961 signature Ray Charles hit, And Don't You Come Back No More, No More, No More, No More.
Hit the Road Jack.
Correct. Which 1996 Tupac diss track is targeted largely at the Notorious B.I.G.
Hit him up.
Correct. And The Heartbreak Prince completes which Taylor Swift song title that also provided the title of a 2020 documentary that followed Swift and her life over several years? Go back to the which 1978 song with a 2-word title from their Some Girls album became the 8th and final #1 hit for the Rolling Stones in the United States?
Pass.
Back to And the Heartbreak Prince completes which Taylor Swift song?
Miss America. Miss America.
It's actually Miss Americana. And it came after the buzzer.
Late.
Don't worry, I don't think Woods is going to get that one. You did get 3. You got Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar. Hit the Road Jack and Hit 'em Up. The Rolling Stones song is Miss You, which is one of my favorites. Let's bring Woods in. John, hang on the line. Very, very good score, I think. Woods in the dark on the category. All right, you ready? 60 seconds back on the clock.
Ready.
Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on John.
Hit me with your best shot, Pat Benatar.
Correct. Which 1978 song with a 2-word title from their Some Girls album became the 8th and final #1 hit for the Rolling Stones in the United States?
I feel like the category would help me here. Pass.
Margie Hendricks provided the female vocals for which 1961 signature Ray Charles hit, And Don't You Come Back No More, No More, No More,
Hit the
No
road,
More.
Jack.
Correct. Which 1996 Tupac diss track is targeted
Hit 'em
large.
up.
Correct. And The Heartbreak Prince completes which Taylor Swift song title that also provided the title of a 2020 documentary that followed Swift and her life over several years?
I'll pass on that one.
Which 1978 song with a 2-word title from their Some Girls album became the 8th and final #1 hit for the Rolling Stones in the United States? I knew this might be a troublesome one
tricky.
for you.
Is it something with hit? Shot?
Category has definitely made an impact here.
Oh, man, what a brick. That's it.
That's a tie. Congratulations, John.
All
You're
right, give me the
qualified. The category is hit or miss.
Okay, miss you.
Miss you.
Was the Stones.
I knew if you knew the category, that would make a difference.
What was
and it did.
Taylor's?
Miss Americana.
Miss
is what
Americana.
that's called.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
I didn't think you would,
No.
which came down to miss you. And if you had the category, you would have gotten it.
Damn it.
But you didn't. So, John, congratulations. You are in. Day one in our drawing for the Win Encore trip to Las Vegas.
Stay on the line for me,
Congratulations.
I do love that song, Miss You. I love it.
I said the same thing. It's one of my favorites
It's so good.
Rolling Stone songs as well.
Woo, that was
I like
a
this
toughie.
one by Pat Benatar
As
as
do
well.
I.
All right, Woods, you want to tease us for Don't Do This?
Oh, man, do not let your Twitter fingers write checks that your Twitter mouth can't cash. Literally, in this case.
Coming up next after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. It's rare that I don't do this story. The same story catches both of our eyes.
Yes.
But I actually sent myself this story, and then I saw Woods retweeted it yesterday. So I knew at that moment we were definitely getting a DDT story. So, Woodsy, I'll let you get started.
Yeah, we were on the same page, definitely, Benjamin. There was, listen, if you're a Florida State football fan, your program is in disrepair. And it happens. It happens to the best of programs. You know, you fall into disrepair, and you can't win games. And now, after last night's loss to BC...
Their second loss, because they lost to Georgia Tech already in Dublin in the first week of the year.
This is the school that was undefeated last year, right?
Yeah,
and ranked 10th to start the year.
They got snubbed out of the playoffs. Everyone was pissed.
Yep.
You're thinking, oh, that's going to fuel this team.
Yeah.
Now it's a totally different team.
It is.
Like every college football team.
It's weird that Georgia and Alabama and all kinds of other teams can rebound and keep
0-2 already.
0-2 already.
Season hasn't even started yet.
It feels like the season has not started. They've lost twice. So there was a Twitter user, and what he did is he tweeted it. Now he looks like a Florida State fan. He's got a big, very dyed black beard. He's got aviators on. He's got a lot of gold chains on. He's holding a cigar.
What makes that a Florida State fan versus, say, a Miami fan or a Florida fan?
Yeah, I think you could.
Just anything
down in the Florida Panhandle, maybe. But he tweeted, if Florida State loses to BC this weekend, I will eat dog S out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of me doing it. Book it. So he made he made a declaration on Twitter. Well, people see
showing
that.
Confidence in his team.
100%.
A lot of confidence.
100%. And he says it, buddy, last night in the first half of the game, people started remembering. Oh, remember that guy that said he was going to do that? Let's go see where he is.
Well, they were getting bodied by Boston College in the first half.
Yeah, it's at 321 Knoll is his Twitter account. But he deleted his account in the first half. Deleted it. Everyone started roasting. Well, now a non-existent person on social media. And they were pissed. They were really pissed.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're like, hey, man, you can't say you're going to do that. And then not only not do it, but bail. Just completely delete and wipe yourself clean. Now, we've got some people on the case here. Jack McGuire says, the dog ass eater is on the run, like you wouldn't believe. In the last hour, he's deleted his Instagram and Facebook. The man is recently engaged. Imagine explaining to your soon-to-be wife why you had to go 0 dark 30 on social media. I have his fiance's Instagram. I think I may draw the line at involving civilians, but I'd be lying if I didn't consider it.
That would be screwed up.
They're after this guy, dude. They are after him. And so now what they're saying is, you've cursed the Florida State program for life. If you say you're going to do this and you don't do it, but they're already 0-2. I mean, but I'll tell you what, as far as a proclamation or a declaration goes, that's one of the worst I've ever heard. Why? You don't need to do that. You don't need to say, I will eat dog S, because it's football. Anything can happen, and you're not a great team. Eating dog poop, the thought of it makes me retch.
It really, does anyone want to see him doing that? I don't. I really don't. Woods kind of does.
I kind of do. Because I would definitely throw up if I saw it.
Right.
But
it's
if you
not going to make any of us happy.
If you make that declaration.
He made a mistake. He's got to own it.
Well, he didn't own it. He bailed.
He did.
He is 100%.
Would that satisfy anyone, though, if he stayed? He goes, I may have gotten carried away with myself and my confidence in Florida State. Obviously, I'm not going to actually
I'm not going to. So quit.
Dog doo-doo. That would be unsanitary, unsafe, and no one really wants to see that in a red Solo cup or otherwise. Why a red Solo cup?
I don't know.
Why not in a styrofoam, clamshell?
Why not in a clamshell? Why not in a cloche?
Ooh.
Dog poop covered by a cloche. Yeah, somebody says
martini glass.
Martini glass. Somebody says sounds like some Dan Clark.
Dan Clark does this.
Dan Clark does this all the time. Remember Dan Clark? Manny Machado does something. I'll get his name tattooed on my ass.
I mean, remember when Mudd said if the Padres come from behind to beat the Washington Nationals?
Yep.
He would walk from Alpine. Yeah, that was the Daniel Camarena
Grand
Slam game that forced Mudd then to make his trek from Alpine to Petco Park. And he did it.
He did it, man. Mudd is a man of his word. I wore a diaper for 4 hours.
But I'd rather walk from Alpine to Petco Park than eat dog doo-doo out of a red Solo.
I'd rather wear a diaper for 4 hours show than walk from Alpine to Petco Park or eat dog poop out of a... Somebody said it could kill you. Could it? Eating a bite of dog poop? I don't think it's going to kill you. It's going to ruin your day, though.
Can't be good for you.
It's not going to help you. I mean,
Can't believe it, man. I mean, he's gone. He's out. And now people are on the case.
That's truly his punishment.
You know it's got. I mean, you know they're going to come
This
get
is his punishment, that he is now no longer welcome in polite online society.
Yeah.
All right, let's stick with college football, Woods. There are actually a few to choose from. There was Florida's coach who couldn't open a water bottle while talking about how embarrassed his team should be at their loss to Miami on Saturday. He's just sitting there. What's his name?
Billy Napier.
Billy Napier is just sitting there trying to open an Aquafina bottle and just cannot get it open. And he's going, we should be embarrassed at this performance. And he can't. He just eventually sets it down, just like his team, in utter failure at the end of the game. But you had one of your favorites, so I'll let you go with Brian Kelly here.
Apologize to our beloved TJ, who is a huge LSU fan.
It's a great night to be a Tiger.
Uh-huh. I don't think they feel that way anymore about Brian Kelly after yet another opening day neutral site loss. Brian Kelly.
Maybe just open against like Southwestern Louisiana at home next year.
Holy Cross College. Like, figure it out, man. I mean, eventually he needs to get. He's the type of coach, and he's always been the type of coach. This happened when he was the Notre Dame coach, and the start slow and you build. Okay. You can't really do it in college football, though. You really need to come out of the gates firing, and they lost again. And here he is.
Who did they lose to?
USC. Yeah. And I like that quarterback. He looks good.
That was a great game.
Great game.
Miller Moss.
Now,
remember, he was the star of the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
At Petco Park last year.
Yeah, he looks really good. But he did the old performative fist slam.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things.
Do it again.
About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach.
You said it, bud. You said it. Oh, man, I do not miss him.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again.
You said it.
Could have been Bob Melvin last year.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever pounded his fist on anything.
No, he rocked back and forth. That was his bit.
Another game we could have won and
rocking back and
didn't
forth.
win. And...
Yeah, notice the lack of accent in that. Paulie, one more time. just try to notice the difference in this one.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again.
It's a great night
about the same
to
thing.
be a Tiger.
It's little
about not finishing when you have an opponent in a position.
I'm here with my family.
What
So it
we're
should've said-
doing on the
so it
sideline
would've
is
sounded like-
feeling.
and we're sitting here again with no direction. We did it
And we
again.
are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly, to be with you great fans.
Oh, my Lord. Brian Kelly has lost.
The same person.
It's not the
That's
same
not
person.
The same
It'll make
person.
me laugh.
He has lost.
Forever.
He's lost his mind. He's lost his mind.
Finally, a little doo-doo this on a Tuesday.
DD mega doo-doo.
Congratulations to, Scotty Scheffler, first of all, who completed probably the best single season we've seen since Tiger Woods on the golf calendar with a $25 million win in the Tour Championship in Atlanta. Started with the lead, held it after every round, and he was deservedly the best player of the year, finished 4 shots ahead of Colin Morikawa to win the FedEx Cup. But real congratulations, I think, go out to his caddy, Ted Scott. So Scotty Scheffler won $62 million in prize and bonus money this year.
That is so earned in golf. I mean, it is earned. Like, you have to earn that much money. Dude.
No, not if you go to the Live Tour. They
Yeah,
all earn more than that without doing anything. But he earned all of it. Now, if you go by the traditional 10% for a winner's fee and you calculate, could be a little bit different, but just kind of assuming what his caddy made. Ted Scott made around $6.2 million this year. That's more than Jack Nicklaus made in his entire career. Scotty Scheffler's caddy made more in 1 year than Jack Nicklaus made in his entire career because of how much he won this year on the PGA Tour.
Scotty's a really, really hard guy to root against. You just can't do it, but what a monster. He's just a monster.
He got arrested this year.
He did get arrested
and
this
still
year.
ended up with probably the greatest season since maybe like mid-2000s Tiger Woods.
Dub J makes a good point here. We probably dropped the ball here. The Manny jersey swap story should have been do this. But yeah, we haven't gotten into that game yet.
No,
so.
we'll talk about it, though. That's the weekend that was in Tampa is next up. But that was Don't and Do This on a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I wanted the Kyrie first pitch yesterday.
That was a
the
great
Do
one.
This,
That was a great
which was
one.
fantastic as well. I mean,
Looks like he threw a little cut on it. Maybe a little.
I mean, right on the
curveball.
outside corner at the knees, just perfect.
Kid's the coolest.
It
man.
was his 7th birthday, right?
Yeah.
That was such a cool moment
Bo-
yesterday.
Bo's
Throwing to his
obsessed
dad.
With, Bo's obsessed with Kyrie. Thinks they could be best friends.
Did you ever have someone growing up that you thought if I met them, we would be best friends? Like a famous person?
No, I mean, I had famous girls that I wanted, like Alyssa Milano. I thought maybe we could date. I wrote her a letter.
You wrote her a letter?
Sure did.
A letter?
Yeah, I
Did
wrote
you
her a
send
letter.
it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To where? Like the care of the
Like
studio?
the care of the studio? Yeah, 100%.
Who's the boss?
Yeah.
7800 Hollywood Boulevard.
Wrote her a letter. Sure did. Sure did.
Did she write you back?
She did not.
Oh.
She did not.
No signed picture or
No,
anything?
no, nothing.
What a disappointment.
I know. Very disappointing.
All right, we'll look back at that great moment and the series, Padres and Rays from over the weekend.
Talk to-
And talk to Sammy Levitt.
Sam
Oh,
Levitt.
that's right.
As
Early Sammy.
Trying to get you guys to go to break.
Yeah, next on 97.3 The Fan. Well, Sammy can stay around for a couple segments. We got Sammy Levitt standing by. First baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Sammy in the clubhouse yesterday for the return of Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll get his perspective right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Collision has cleared on northbound 805 near H Street. We still have this other crash, though, up ahead near 47th. That involves a motorcycle. We're trying to move that over the right shoulder. Also, traveling on southbound 5 right around Sassafras, we have reports of a collision involving several vehicles. Got the fast lane blocked. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows this collision has cleared in the North County, northbound 15 before Via Rancho Parkway, but we're still seeing quite a bit of residual slowing. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
So with no game on a Tuesday, our normal Tuesday guest, Jesse Agler, will join us on Wednesday. But because Monday was a holiday, our normal Monday guest, Sammy Levitt, joins us right now on a Tuesday. Good morning, Sammy.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Hope you had a great holiday weekend, and good to be with you on this fine Tuesday.
Good to have you.
Good to have you, yes.
Yeah, Sammy, that was pretty electric stuff yesterday at the old ballpark.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whether you want to take the headline entering the game of Fernando returning, which obviously was great news and I think is a huge boost for this team on the field and in that clubhouse. And then the game itself, we didn't see any big-time Fernando plays, but that's okay. I think him getting out there and looking good was what you wanted to see. And obviously, I think the headline from yesterday on a day, by the way, where the team has a cross-country flight the day before and then has a day game to wrap up an 18-day stretch, I think, number one, you just wanted to find a way to win the game, which they did. And number two, Joe Musgrove continues to just look outstanding, which I don't think you can say enough about what that means for this team, for this rotation, for the potential postseason picture of this rotation. It's an enormous deal. And again, yesterday, he just looked super sharp. And when he got in trouble, he was able to find his way out of it. I just think you have to be so encouraged with how Joe looks, how he continues to feel. And it's just a good reminder as now we wait for Yu Darvish to make his return tomorrow, how important those guys can be. And they're pretty fresh with the time missed. So, again, it's a good reminder of what having a guy like Joe back means, what having a guy like you back means, and obviously the performances they can put together.
Sam, oftentimes when a superstar player is out, there's a narrative in sports. Hey, let's hang on while they're gone, and then, we'll hit our stride when we get healthy again. That has not been the case with the Padres. While Fernando Tatis Jr. was gone, they actually have played their best baseball of the season, and I think it's kind of coloring the perspective of how the clubhouse feels now that he is back. What was your impression of talking to the guys? Obviously there was a lot of excitement, but didn't feel like anyone's looking to Fernando Tatis necessarily to have to now you got to put us on your backs, because they don't need that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Ben. They've played themselves into a position, despite missing Fernando, despite missing Darvish, despite missing Joe. They've played themselves in a position where now they get those guys back in a real position of power. I mean, look, were they scorching hot over the 18 games in 18 days? No, they went 10-8, which you'll certainly take. And if you zoom out a little bit farther, in the 27 games in 28 days, they came out of it, number one, with a good record. And number two, if you want to look at the standings, this morning they would hold the top wild card spot and host a wild card series. So if you zoom out a little bit, this team has done a tremendous job at weathering the storm of injuries. And you're right, they played their best baseball without those guys there. And now to get those guys back for the very end of the season, hopefully heading into October, it says a lot about this group, and not just about the mentality and the culture, which I all think has been impressive, but they've got contributions all over the place, as cliche as it sounds. To me, it's been one of the real great things about this group, especially in the second half. There have been so many games individually where you just feel like it's a 26-man roster effort, from the David Peraltas to the Donovan Solanos to the Tyler Wades to different guys in the bullpen to Martin Perez. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, there have been, you can't point to one guy that has carried the load. I mean, certainly having Manny playing the way he's played, that helps. But you can't point to one guy who's been responsible for it, which I think is one of the real great aspects of this team and what they've done, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it's Luis Ariz coming through with 2 big knocks, 2 big RBI. I mean, just Manny adding on. But, you know, the bullpen addition, Sammy, have been fantastic. So as you mentioned, we sit with the first wild card today. We were chopping it up on, off the air and talking about, well, Dodgers are playing well. Everyone kind of expected them to win the division. Where do you stand as far as where do you want to be? You want to be the first wild card, Sammy, and host those games at home? Because that's kind of what we landed on in here is the Ben and Woods official statement. We want those games here at Petco Park, when that time comes.
I totally agree. I think you want that number 1 wild card seed. Now, if you want to start getting really picky and say, hey, I don't want to face the Diamondbacks, I get it. Diamondbacks are a good team. They've been there, done that as far as making a postseason run with this same group a year ago. Look, the Braves are a good team, too. And, look, nothing's guaranteed at this point. I think we need to be very clear about that. The Mets are playing well. They're a half game out behind Atlanta as of this morning. The Cubs are playing well. All of a sudden, they're back in the mix. And quite frankly, if you're the Padres, you got to keep playing well because there are teams that are right there. So this thing is not – look, the Padres are in a great position, but this thing is not over. I agree with you guys. I think you want to host those games at home. I do think at Petco Park, with the environment that's been built, there's a real value to that, to playing at home. And if you're somebody out there that would rather play a team other than the Diamondbacks, then I guess you hope the Diamondbacks don't play well and you get some other team. But you can't pick the opponent. I do think, quite obviously, you want to play those games at home. I mean, doing what the Padres did in 22, going to New York, winning a 3-game series, guys, that's tough to do. It really is. To me, you want to play those games at home, guarantee that you have home games to begin the postseason and go from there, and whoever the opponent is who it is.
Talking to Sam Levitt, our Padres pre- and post-game show host. It's his first day off in 2.5 weeks.
Nice.
And here he is up early talking to us.
Sweet angel.
On this first day off.
To correct, I did take
Oh, that's right. You did. You had the wedding that you went to.
I'm not Mr. Iron.
You're right. You're right. Fair enough. All right. Let's. I want us all to put on our speculation hats for a second. I was not surprised that the Padres decided to forego a minor league rehab assignment for Fernando Tatis Jr. Get him back to the big club as soon as possible. I was a little surprised to hear yesterday Yu Darvish is going to start tomorrow's game. I was hoping maybe he'd start Friday when Randy Vasquez's turn would be back up, but they're not wasting any time in getting him back to the mound. So what do you think this portends for the Padres rotation the rest of the way? Are they trying to give Michael King a little extra rest by putting Yu Darvish in a little bit more here? We probably won't see Vasquez again. Obviously, they optioned him. So what do you kind of see going forward for the Padres starting rotation?
Yeah, I would imagine that's sort of a key part of it, is just giving guys a little bit of extra rest, right? I mean, we've seen Dylan Cease run into some more trouble lately. Obviously, we all understand with Michael King, he's in uncharted territory as far as the innings and the workload. So I would imagine that was part of it, to just, to give those guys an extra day of rest, which I think is okay. Look, the bottom line, guys, is that they're going to need Cease and King and obviously Joe and Darvish now, hopefully for a couple more months. So trying to keep those guys fresh, I think, is important. So I would imagine that played a pretty significant role, as we put our thinking caps on into why Darvish was slotted in for Wednesday. And look, we don't know the reasoning in the Darvish perspective of it, but it may have just worked out for him too. That's the day that worked out with the bullpens and with how they wanted to slot him in. So, and it also helps, Yu's going to be a little bit limited, I'd imagine. He threw 66 pitches in that in the last controlled game he threw in Arizona. So, if you put him at, let's say, 78 to 80 pitches for the start on Wednesday, also doesn't hurt that your bullpen is fresh coming off the off day, so that may play a role in it too. So probably a couple of factors, but getting some rest for those guys an extra day is not the worst thing in the world.
Talking to Sam Levitt, one of the nice moments over the weekend was and we teased it a little bit, the interaction between Manny Machado and Junior Caminero of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Loved it.
You don't see that a lot in baseball. The fact that he's wearing number 13 and playing third base, and how emotional he got in that pregame interview where he broke down in tears talking about what an idol Manny is to him. I thought that was one of my favorite moments of the weekend, Sammy.
Yeah, I think it gives you some good perspective on, number one, how cool this game is, right? Manny's been around a long time, and you have somebody who's a number one prospect in baseball and is a whole lot younger than him, who obviously looked up to him in a major way. Where's number 13 because of Manny Machado? So it's a pretty cool perspective and a reminder to who Manny is and the kind of player the Padres have now for a really, really long time. And I think it's just one of the really cool parts of our game, whether you are a player that looks up to somebody. In my case, like as a broadcaster, I've been super fortunate to now meet some of my broadcast heroes, guys I looked up to, like, no secret, I grew up in New York, listening to Mets games, and to have the chance to get to call, somebody like Gary Cohen of the Mets broadcast, a colleague, and somebody I know really well now and can share a press box with them. It's pretty cool. So I get some of those experiences too. So it was cool to see and good for Manny getting out there after the game and doing the jersey exchange. And you could tell how much it meant to Caminero. So I think it's one of the real cool things that we've seen this season, and a good reminder of, who Manny is and what he means to a lot of the young players in this game and what he'll ultimately mean historically in this game.
No question about it. No question. My son had a practice yesterday and took a ball at third, kind of flipped it over, like the sidearm sling, and his coach said, grabbed me after, and he goes, does he watch a lot of baseball? I go, yeah, he watches a ton. He goes, oh, all right, because he's not strong enough yet to make that throw. I go, well, he's playing third base. He wears number 13 also. You know what he's doing. He goes, yeah, he looks great. He's just not quite strong enough to make the
Junior Woods and Arrow.
the Manny sidearm flip yet. So yeah, dude, that's a real thing, man. So thank you, Sammy. Really appreciate it. Did you and Gary Cohen do like a mic cover swap when you met him? Like you take mine and I'll take yours, and then we can move on.
That's very sanitary.
It's not very sanitary at all. It's like the least sanitary thing you could do.
No, there was no mic cover swap. That would be a good idea, though. I guess it would be the windscreen.
The windscreen.
I guess swap. Yeah, the windscreen. Or at least like the mic flag. That I could start that.
Do that. The mic
I could
flag.
Start
yes,
that.
That's genius.
That would be awesome.
It's genius.
That's
we don't have
really
a bunch
funny
of
idea.
those.
Hey, that's gonna come out of your paycheck, Sammy. So if you want to do it,
here's something funny about the mic flags. I will tell you. At one point at our station, believe it or not, we had a full box because I took a couple. So
I didn't even know that.
All right,
They're
I had no
hiding
idea.
somewhere. Sammy, appreciate it. Now enjoy that day off, and we'll hear from you tomorrow.
All right, guys. See ya.
Sammy back tomorrow at 5:40 for Game 2 of the series, EcoWater SoCal pregame show. Manny also, by the way, still on that cusp of history. Talk about that and more when we come back. Second half of Ben Woods on the way next on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Tuesday, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here. Looks to be a very, very lovely day. Now, it's an off day today, so mind your P's and Q's out there on Twitter. You know, there's usually a main character on an off day. Ben, I'd recommend just keep your mouth to yourself today. You don't really feel like getting dragged. I mean, unless you're into it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if the Mets lose today, the magic number goes down to 19.
19. We need to watch that game today. And you can tell us later what we need to be watching today. But the Padres will not be playing today. A much-deserved day off after just a gnarly stretch. And so, certainly not easy street the rest of the way. They got some really tough opponents, certainly, but at least they'll be well-rested when they play them and not dangling by a thread.
So do the Mets and Diamondbacks. Tough schedules.
Yeah, they got really tough schedules.
Braves not as tough going forward. Padres kind of in the middle. Got like the next 2 weeks are all against teams that are within a game or two of 500.
Sure.
Tigers, Mariners, Giants, all those games, all those teams are right about 500. They're certainly dangerous, but you're not playing the Dodgers every single game.
Well, the good news is you're sharpening your weapons against some really good teams as you go into this stretch run and a potential, first round playoff series. So I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, who is coming up on a very, very monumental anniversary.
So at work at Channel 10, they have these TV monitors throughout the building, and they post kind of different announcements, and then they'll show like, hey, birthdays this month, and then anniversaries this month. And September hit yesterday, and they showed September hiring anniversaries. And next week will be my official 20-year anniversary at KGTV Channel 10. I was actually in the building about 22 years ago, but like full-time
official
sports anchor 20 years ago, September. I remember my first day was I was in Oakland covering a Chargers-Raiders game in the parking lot on my very first day of work. And they sent me up to Oakland.
Knowing 29-year-old Ben, you went there and you were like...
28.
28. Yeah, you're not 49 yet. Your birthday is in November.
Correct.
3rd.
Yes.
Yes.
So when the November screen pops up, they'll say, birthdays in November.
Right.
Ben Higgins.
But I can see a 29-year-old Ben. And again, you'd done it. You'd covered things and been to events. But when you finally were made official, Ben, here's your assignment. You're going up to Oakland. You had to have been, look at him, you had to have been so giddy.
It was Monday Night Football season opener.
Oh, my God.
In that parking, I was a little nervous, too.
Of
because
course.
you're in that parking lot with all the Raiders fans up there. But it actually went really, really well. And it was a very exciting moment. But I can't say that I thought, okay, well, I'll be here for the next 2 decades
it's crazy,
plus,
dude. Crazy.
When I took that job. So it's a momentous occasion.
That's a big one. 20 years is a long.
Did the fine folks at Scripps have anything special planned for you? Because let me tell you what I got about an hour ago. I got an email from Odyssey. Because I was born in the month of September, I have been given an early birthday present.
From Odyssey?
Yeah. From the big bosses. The big Adams bosses.
What did you get?
Bonus? Little paycheck bump?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I got 10 Odyssey points.
Oh. Yeah, 10!
You can redeem those for not much.
Collect 1,000 of them, and you can get some Odyssey headphones that do not work.
Pair of Odyssey socks.
There's an Odyssey backpack.
Backpack is on the Odyssey Point store.
That's like 15
that's
birthdays
a lot of points.
worth.
That's a lot of points for the Odyssey backpack.
It's way more than that.
Yeah.
15, that's 150 points. You ain't get it for 150.
I feel like in the old days, you hit 20 years, you get like a watch or you get
do they do that still?
A trip or something. I mean,
Not
a gift
anymore.
card would be nice, like restaurant out, something like that. 20 years is
$20 for 20 years.
20 years is that's a momentous occasion. Most
20
people
years
don't.
in one spot.
Most
is
people
nuts.
don't get to 20 years in the same job, right?
That's absolutely right. Especially media. Especially media. You're Tony Gwynn, dude. I'm sure those offers were rolling in from LA.
I never worked for another television station,
Never.
just like Tony. 20 years in the same
rank
spot.
At Channel 10 as far as longest tenured employees. 20 years is a long time.
It's a long time, bro.
On air?
Yeah.
So it's between me and Michael Chen, who's our reporter, who actually, his official hire date, like full-time, was before me. So he's been here longer. He's already had his 20th. But I was technically in the building on the air first because I was filling in for 2 years before I was hired. So it's kind of the competition between the two of us. Now, Kimberly Hunt was there before either of us, but left for a while.
Yeah.
Then came back after my 20 years
That
started.
resets.
So kind of resets the
reset
clock. But those would be your three, I would say, longest standing on-air employees. Now, behind the scenes, we've had people who have been there 30 years, 40 years, a long time at the station. So
Charisma is about to break your heart here. She says, the old car dealership company I worked for, someone reached 20 years. They gave him $20,000 with one of those big checks at the company holiday party.
That is not happening. Definitely not happening at Channel 10.
20 years on television in San Diego. Yeah, the Tony Gwynn. Now, did you get other offers from time to time? I think with TV, you have to go out and find them, honestly, unless you're like you're like Ryan Seacrest or something that's very ambitious. You liked being here. You probably didn't have your feelers out for a time.
Yes. I wasn't really out looking.
Right.
That strenuously.
Yeah.
I mean, when my contract came up, I would
you poke around
a little bit, but no, I never actually got any other offers anyway. So.
They're like, damn it.
Oh, you could have had me for even cheaper.
Could have had you for cheaper.
Didn't know that.
20 years, man. Congratulations.
J to the J. Half day of PTO coming my
PTO.
way. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel free to work out with your manager a day you can leave early or something like that.
I wonder if they give you something.
Kurt got a button for 5 years of service.
A button.
Button.
A button. Just wear it?
A button. I've been here 5 years. Button.
A 5-year button. 20 years.
We're getting what? How many years have we been at Odyssey? Almost over 5 now?
Over 5.
5.5.
5.5?
It was
Yeah.
five in June.
Did we get anything for our 5-year anniversary? No,
I don't even think I got those 10 Odyssey points for my birthday. I need to go back and check. I don't know where
I gave
I'm
you
at.
some like last week.
Well, see, we give
I
each
give you
other.
more. I give
we
you like
give each other
15.
more than 10.
Just because it was a Thursday or something.
Do you think they were planning something, and now that I've talked about it, I've ruined it, and
Well,
now they're not going to?
Or they go, oh God, we better pick it up a little bit here. That's the other thing. It could work in your favor.
That's true.
A pizza party presented by Roundtable for Ben at Channel 10. Yeah, man. I 20 years in media in this town is a long, long time. Congratulations.
Technically, I'm giving myself a little golf trip at the end of next week. I'll
That's
be
true.
off next Thursday and Friday.
That's
for my
true.
20-year anniversary.
Yeah,
So
do your own.
I'm out, people.
That's true.
Missing the round table next week. I'll be there this week.
I celebrated 5 years at our old radio station. I celebrated 5 years by
You
getting
got
laid
there
off
5 years? Oh, congratulations.
along with everybody else because they stopped paying the bills. Got a nice big severance package and everything.
Is that like 5 years on the nose?
It was like within a month. Yeah.
A month of 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 5 years there, 5 years here.
you're missing the round table next Thursday?
Next Thursday, I'll be gone, yeah.
Who's hosting?
Oh, Annie did it last time when
That's
I was
true.
gone, and she did a great
Wait,
job.
was
from
I there?
everything
I wasn't
heard.
there.
Did you miss that
I
one?
missed that one.
Everyone gave rave reviews for Annie Halbrin, so hope she knows she's got to step in next Thursday.
Does she know that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And maybe Adam told her, maybe not.
You should do it, Woods.
Polly. Fine, I'll do it, but you have to be on it.
Fine.
Never mind. I just did the solo cup with the dog S in it.
I'm already here for half of it.
I know.
Finishing up. Might
That's
as well.
true. Forget it. No, I don't want to do it. Adam has not spoken to her yet. All right. Well, yeah, you're gone, but this Thursday you will be there.
I will be there this Thursday.
Looking
yes.
forward to it. All right.
No, Adam, I'm not taking the broadcast equipment with me on my 20-year anniversary golf trip.
Is that what this is? Is that what you're calling
No,
it?
it's just happened to be the same.
It's happened to be the same.
Couple days.
And that's the
yeah.
day of your 20th?
Friday next week, I think, will be my 20th.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, congratulations to you. 20 years, certainly a long time. And I hope you get all the flowers.
What's the longest you were ever in the same job in your life? Is it this one? Or were you in one of your other jobs for longer than 5 years?
Maybe right here.
Really?
Yeah. When you're in sales, you're always kind of hunting the next best opportunity, and they come to you. Oh, you had a good quarter there. Would you be interested in doing this for us? And so yeah, it was a little different. Once I got into management, though, at my last company, I thought I was going to be there forever, and then radio came calling, and I ditched it immediately. And it's been certainly it's been almost 15 years in San Diego, but
it was gutsy of you.
Very, yeah.
I mean,
it was
you're at a place where you feel like you're in management
I was
now.
banking, man.
Radio is, you had to even know going into it, not a stable form of employment going forward.
Yeah, especially the show I was on.
Right.
Somebody asked how long did that show last? Year and a half. Year and a half. My first show here. Year and a half. And I was...
See, now Big Boss Michael says Ben and Woods will be here for 20-plus years. Put it in writing.
Throw it in writing.
We're very happy here.
Yeah,
We'd
we'll
love
sign
to
it.
stay.
We'll sign it today. 20's a long time, though. That would be 14 more years.
How old would you? You'd be 64 or so?
Can't do it, man. Can't do it. Coming in here going, all right, so they're calling this kid up. He's 18. I mean, I don't know if I have it in me, but we'll try.
Pilates?
Yeah. Paulie is our 50-year-old producer. Like, forget it, dude. I want to go out on top. But anyway, no, we are very proud of you, Ben, and that says a lot about your character.
Thank you.
And who you are, and the fact that they would want to keep you there for that long is remarkable. And never once did they go, I wonder if we, and they may have, you don't know. I wonder if we could do a little bit better than Ben. And they said, no, the guy shows up.
Not.
Well, I mean, you know how bosses are. You know how media is. They're always looking for the next big thing, but Steady Eddie, man. Steady Eddie wins the race to 20 years.
I will say, I watched a lot of college football this weekend. I mean, a lot. And most of the games were on Channel 10.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of Ben Higgins sweepers.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them yet.
I saw a few of those too. They were like,
I remember
hey.
you told us you had filmed them, and you were like,
Never
waiting to
see
see
them.
when they
And then
aired.
they were on a lot. I saw it too.
I don't watch a ton of live television, at least not Channel 10. Like, it's usually the Padres game, and then I'm back to the Roku or whatever. I was like watching, like, NBA Finals might have been on Channel 10. Never saw them.
No.
And then saw like 5 times this
Yeah, it
weekend.
was great.
Coming back from commercial break.
Randomly,
I'm like, hey,
not even paying attention, sitting on my couch watching college football
Sports
today, and I looked up.
Taylor pointed it out. That's Ben.
10 News sports anchor Ben Higgins covering San Diego. And I look up and I go, oh, look, I'm staring at myself on television right now.
So good.
There I am.
Attaboy. Good job.
Thank
Proud
you.
Of you. Proud of you. This guy got a $1,000 bonus for his 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
So that should be
That's a
$20,000.
precedent you do not want to set, Odyssey.
That's $20,000 for you, Benny. I hope you get something. Hope they do right by you. We'll take care. Well, you won't be here, but we'll take care of you maybe the day before you leave.
Thanks.
All right. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Thank you.
You belch on air more than any radio host, probably in the history of radio.
Snuck.
Wouldn't you say that?
On me, man.
I mean, I have rarely heard radio hosts at all belch, but Woods does it at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Snuck up on me. Sorry about it.
All right, we'll come back. Paulie watched a lot of college football. I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about some of the games that we saw over the weekend. Was that Paulie?
You do one.
I can't.
You can't burp on
I literally, I can't.
I've never heard him burp. I can't burp.
I can't. I can't burp accidentally either.
You don't burp.
I don't burp
At all.
I mean, occasionally, like a silent one will come out,
Like one of those.
Yeah, but
But
I've never made a noise
Really?
in a burp in my life.
Never
Once. I've had the stomach noise, but not an actual burp ever.
Yet another
weird thing about
another
them.
brick.
I don't even know how to describe how to do it, but yeah, I can burp on command.
God, you're so lucky. Do it again. God, that's talent.
On Ben and Woods. Check traffic. See if Kelly can do it on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Just talking about our boss, Adam Klug. He's got to be in a pretty good mood today.
I would imagine.
Georgia Bulldogs, they were probably the most impressive team.
No, Texas was pretty impressive.
They were,
yeah.
But the Georgia Bulldogs dismantled Clemson.
Yeah.
14th ranked Clemson, 34-3. They had everyone questioning, like, Dabo Swinney's competency as coach. And, remember, Clemson was really, really good for a while. And now Georgia is just so good right now. They look very poised for another national title run in Georgia. And Kirby Smart, probably now officially the number one coach in college football now that Nick Saban's gone.
Supplanted Nick Saban, I would imagine.
Yeah, so really impressive win for the Georgia Bulldogs. Really impressive win for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Maybe in terms of like road wins going into, ESPN College Game Day, 100,000 plus people, Kyle Field at Texas A&M, and getting that win in a close game, and then coming through in the fourth quarter like they did. Marcus Freeman's stock on the rise for the Fighting Irish.
You forget how awesome and absolutely awful it is to have a rooting interest in college football and just the standing up, screaming at the TV. The whole scene is just nuts, and what they were able to do going in there, it's such a tough place to play. I mean, you saw the 12th man is a real thing. I can't even imagine how you prepare. Oh, we played loud music at practice. Like,
Piped in some crowd noise.
It's not even close, dude. It's not even close. And their defense, Benny, looks really, really, really good. And yeah, man, Marcus Freeman coming back. He's got some time under his belt. Great recruiter, great defensive coordinator. It was an awesome win, man. And now you got to refocus. And they got some easy games, but as the Irish have proven over many, many years since I've been a fan, there are no easy games.
So you mentioned that last week, and I was just looking at their schedule, and essentially they got nothing but easy games. I mean,
there's no such thing though. If you're a Notre Dame fan,
yeah,
really not. They don't have that.
But if they can win
offense.
at Texas A&M, Northern Illinois, Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, I mean, they at least beat Florida State, but Florida State's horrible. Navy, Florida State, no longer. I mean, that was going to be the marquee game on their schedule, and they've looked absolutely awful.
I think USC is going to end up.
Virginia, Army. So then that's their entire season. And then it comes down to at USC. Last game, November 30th, and USC had the other, I thought, really impressive victory with, we talked about him a bit, Miller Moss, who was the Holiday Bowl star offensive MVP last year when he filled in for Caleb Williams, who decided, hey, I'm the number one pick in the draft. I don't need to play in the Holiday Bowl. And Miller Moss stepped up, and now looks like a potential Heisman Trophy candidate himself. For the USC Trojans, we just have to wait so long for that game between those two teams.
Well, and as you know, anything can happen. I mean, Louisville beat the Irish. Louisville, you just never know.
Oh yeah, there's landmines for sure.
Absolute landmines.
But
they'll be favored.
They'll be favored in it probably every game now, at least until that USC game, and depending on how USC survives a grueling Big Ten schedule, much harder than Notre Dame's schedule coming up. Notre Dame's poised to make that 12-team college football playoff just based on basically that win on Saturday against Texas A&M.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. There's just no question about it. It was really spectacular and took a couple years off my life, I think.
There was also a local college team that had a very impressive win on Saturday night. Congratulations to the USD Toreros.
Hell of a game.
Beat a scholarship program for just the third time in school history, taking out Cal Poly 27-21 in their season opener at Torero Stadium. Very good win for Coach Brandon Moore, who, of course, had to deal with the whole hazing scandal last year. It was just a mess and a nightmare, so he's kind of going, this is actually my new first season and a good start, a restart for USD. Oh, yeah, and then there was the other
I watched
local team. I did too.
I watched a lot of it.
I was very curious to see what the offense was going to look like.
I sat and watched the first half
for
and
San
went,
Diego State.
Bro, this could not be going any worse for a new coach that likes to run and gun, and you can't get anything going. The quarterback, what's his name?
Danny O'Neal.
Danny O'Neal.
Sounds like he should be playing for Notre Dame.
He really does. Yeah.
Not that first half.
First half, I watch. I go, oh man, they're up against it, dude. And then you see
the problem with running a fast-paced, hurry-up offense is if you don't get a first down, You've just held the ball for
30 seconds. Yeah, that's it.
And you're punting it
Defense
away.
hasn't even sat down yet.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like in the first half. And when they trailed 6-3 against Texas A&M Commerce after the first half,
you're like, here we go.
It was like, hey, everyone deserves a little bit of patience as a new coach, but whoa, that was bad.
That's like you walk into the locker room and go, do I need to change everything about this game plan? Do I need to dumb this down right now?
Penalties were absurd. Undisciplined play. It was really, really ugly. But then the second half came out, and
as usual, the Aztecs' defense is really what flipped that
turnovers
game.
were big. But O'Neal completed
great.
11 of his last 12 passes, and this running back that they got used to be
great.
with Sean Lewis at Kent State, Marquez Cooper. They got something in this kid. Now, you may not realize that he is actually the NCAA's active leading rusher already from his 3 seasons at Kent State, kind of toiling in anonymity, but jumping to SDSU and getting 223 yards in your first game is going to start getting people talking about you a little bit. So, obviously, there are much tougher games on the schedule, including this week. Oregon State coming to Snapdragon Stadium, but I'll give him a passing grade for Sean Lewis in his first game as head coach of the Aztecs.
They missed the cover by half a point.
Yeah.
By the way.
After
a point.
It
was
over
32 and a half.
And they were down 3 at halftime. And they nearly covered in the second half.
I mean, holy smokes. I will be complete transparency. Yes, I took Texas A&M Commerce plus 32 and a half points. Yes,
I sent you guys the line, and I go, can San Diego State even score 33 points?
They got 45. They did.
All that I had, I was like, yeah, I've watched the Aztecs the last few years. I know it's different players. I know it's different coach. I know it's a different system. But I thought 32 and a half is a monster number to cover. And boy, it got down to the end. I went, oh my God, they got the ball and they're going for it, and they ended up running out the clock. But holy smokes, man, it was a nice victory and a really nice second half of football. But
it was wild though, man.
6-3 at half was unreal.
I watched much more of Notre Dame and real A&M.
Yeah.
On Channel 10, I think they were. But I was flipping back and forth. You got San Diego State and A&M Commerce at Snapdragon on True TV, I think it was.
True TV.
And then I'd flip over, and you go to Kyle Field on the big ESPN, ABC channel, and I go, it looks like they're playing 2 different sports.
It's so unbelievable.
It looks like I'm watching a JV high school football game at a nice high school field, and then you go and there's 114,000 people or whatever, and it's noted, like the athletes, they look like grown men. Like it was just, it's the disparity between the top of college football D1 and lower towards the bottom.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's pretty staggering.
You just go back and forth in watching it.
Well, I mean, dude, I was even watching Florida State's offense last night, and they didn't do great. But I watched them, and I go, I mean, it's more explosive and dynamic than the Irish is. You know what I mean? It's like
Bro, I was watching
every team's got its thing.
USC and LSU, neutral site, by the way, in Vegas. They sold out more than any Raiders game ever has sold out. They had more people in that game for USC LSU week 1 than the Super Bowl that was just in Las Vegas.
It's insanity, man.
By the way, congratulations to Woods and all the other Notre Dame fans for collecting a brand new meme this weekend of USC's Trojan mascot trying to stab his sword into the artificial turf.
I almost died. It's concrete, okay?
Well, there must have been a plan, though,
so
right?
He gets the thing, and he goes into the concrete, and it, like, rocks him. He's like...
He knew it wasn't
the
grass,
turf up.
but there was like the whatever they had placarded down for the logo, and I thought
died.
They must have a plan when they're on an artificial turf stadium for stabbing the turf, but it didn't look like it worked, whatever it was.
I saw that, and I thought, they're going to lose by 60 at this point. If that happens... Holy smokes, dude. He was shaking, and it knocked him back, and then he tried to pull it out. Oh, my God. Also, by the way, when you think USC Trojan, nothing against this guy's built like I am. He's real skinny arms. He was not like some hulking Trojan. So, I don't know how he won those tryouts or however they did it. Maybe they're the only guy to show up. Like, all right, you got it. It's yours if you want.
The costume fits.
The costume
it's
fits.
Yours. It's yours. You're Tommy
dead.
Trojan. There you go.
I was dead. It was so good. I may retweet it again. It was that good.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, I want to talk more about the Padres. We didn't really get through all the games in Tampa Bay over the weekend that we missed. Manny's milestone coming up as well, getting close to it. We'll get to that. And we still haven't given away those Padres tickets. I saw someone, I think Keegan in the chat, was asking about the Padres tickets. No, we still have those to give away for tomorrow's game against the Tigers and the City Connect hoodie
baby.
giveaway. And Yu Darvish's return. So stay tuned for all of that coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A lot can happen on a 3-day holiday weekend. If you'll remember, when we last joined you on Friday morning, had our manager's report with Mike Schilt. It was a good conversation, by the way. One of my favorites of the year with Mike Schilt. It was really good. But they had just lost 2 in a row, and was wondering whether this stretch of games was starting to take its toll on the Padres heading into Tampa, into that dome, and how are they going to respond? Well, they responded with a great 2 out of 3 series win, starting Woods with Friday night's game, and I want to talk about that 13-5 win and Manny's pursuit of Padres history. Get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. We still have a few problems here, guys. One of them is this crash on southbound 163 before Friars Road. A couple vehicles involved. It's got the left lane blocked. Also collision on westbound King Freeway before 30th Street. Tow truck rolling up to help out with this one. It's over to the right shoulder. Eastbound King Freeway just before Kelton. There is a collision blocking the fast lane. Stop by into the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So remember, last Wednesday and Thursday, the Padres offense scuffled in St. Louis. They went 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. And I said Friday morning, this team looks tired. They look beat. And it was understandable given the oppressive heat and humidity and the lack of off days. So watching Friday's game with kind of a keen eye as to how they were going to respond. And boy, did they respond. 10 runs in the first 4 innings and a good 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position on their way to a 13-5 win over the Rays. Like, okay, this is nice.
Watching the games in St. Louis was exhausting to cover on television. Like, watching them on television, I was exhausted. When Friday 10 a.m. hit here, I literally text my wife. I go, I made it. That was the day I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd slept for 45 minutes. I go, I made it. I made it. When that game started, Benny, I looked up to the heavens and I said, I need a laugher. I need an absolute laugher tonight. One way or the other. I just need a laugher. I cannot be on the edge of my seat all night long after the long-ass week we just had. And boy, did they deliver. Martin Perez did exactly what he needed to do. 4 runs, 5 innings. You know, he's a fifth starter,
that
guys.
Second inning with 4 runs was not great. But then the other 4 innings, he dodged around the trouble and got through 101 pitches. But, yeah, what they needed, 5 innings.
They got 5 innings out of him. He's your 5th starter. Oh, great job. I mean, the offense picked him up. The offense knew they needed to pick him up, and they did. Sean Reynolds, who just continues to impress me, man. All 5 of his outs via the strikeout. Just incredible. And he got sent down, and, you know, hopefully he can come up. Does he have to wait? How long does he have to wait?
Depends on if there's an injury, they can bring him right back. If not, I think he has to wait 10 days or 15 days.
Yeah, 10 or 15 days. So it's a bummer, man. He's been really, really good.
But there's not really a lot of room anymore. With Darvish being activated, there's even less room
Wandy Peralta's
tomorrow.
back as well.
Yeah, Wandy came back when they expanded the rosters on September 1st. So, yeah, there's a little less room on that roster. But you mentioned the offense.
Diaz's contract.
Oh, yeah. Diaz
is there. And I would think he'll get a chance behind the plate at some point here fairly soon.
Yeah. Surprised he hasn't gotten back there yet already.
But so on Friday, you had the home runs from David Peralta, Xander Bogaerts, Jurickson Profar, who, yeah, he's been in a bit of a slump, but he still got on base 5 times in that game with 4 walks and a single and scored 2 runs. But it was Manny who really did the thing on Friday. 3 for 5, 3-run homers, 23rd of the season, 4 runs driven in. And that was his 161st home run with the Padres, tying Adrian Gonzalez for 2nd in franchise history. And talked about it a little bit last week, that the all-time franchise record, Nate Colbert's 163, a record that has stood every single day of my lifetime.
It's crazy.
His last home run in 1974 with the Padres.
48 years,
and they have, in 50 years, they've never had a guy who has had the longevity and power to break that record, which is the lowest total in all of Major League Baseball. But Manny seems like, I was hoping it'll happen here on this homestand. We'll see. You never know when home runs are going to come, but he's just 2 away from tying Nate Colbert now and 3 away from setting a new franchise record for home runs, and one that hopefully he'll be building on for years and years to come.
What's he at, 23?
He's at 23 this season. back of the baseball card stuff.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. He's getting there, creeping. Needs to go on have another, continue to have another great month, and I would love to see him get to 30.
Now, Saturday's game was also a laugher, unfortunately, in the other direction. Randy Vasquez was hit hard.
Yeah, it was rough.
4 1/3 innings, and they let him wear it. Mike Schilt, rare for Mike Schilt, but clearly
had to do it.
He was not going to go to the high leverage arms in the bullpen. He was not going to rescue Randy Vasquez after 60 pitches. That game was punted, and it's very rare to see the Padres do that, but 11 hits, 9 earned runs, and they just had to get as much out of him as possible. The real hero on Saturday was Alec Jacob.
Straight up.
Who was started the day in El Paso at 6 a.m., had to fly through Denver to get to St. Petersburg, Florida. Get
go west,
north, back east. Arrived as the game was starting, heading down to the bullpen going, do you need me? Do you not need me? Ends up pitching a career-high 3 2/3 innings just to make sure no one else from that bullpen had to throw a pitch. Only gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. They came in his last inning. And while it was an 11-4 loss and one of the more forgettable games of the season for the San Diego Padres, it should not be ignored what Alec Jacob did in that game to rescue the San Diego Padres bullpen and not turn a loss into something that was also going to hurt them the next couple of days. And it didn't. And see what happens the next couple of days. Padres used their high leverage arms in close games to get 2 wins. And part of those 2 wins on Sunday and Monday were Alec Jacob and Randy Vasquez even eating it and wearing it on Saturday. That's what we're talking about when you manage for a 162-game season.
That's it.
Sometimes it requires an ugly loss every once in a while to set yourself up for hopefully a close wins the next couple of days. That's it. That's textbook.
That's
there.
That's the definition of it, man. And you give up 11 runs to the Rays, and you used 2 pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's how you do it. And Mike Schilt knew it. Alec Jacob knew it. Everybody knew the assignment. Randy Vasquez was getting barreled all over the yard, walking guys. It was a terrible, terrible outing and very disappointing for Randy Vasquez. But again, to go out and go 4 1/3 for him, let Alec Jacob come in, finish it off. Was that it? That's only 2. Yeah,
that's it.
Did Vasquez go 5 1/3?
Yuki got up for half a second, but Jacob got through it and it was done.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
It's crazy that day was for Jacob. Like, it's also not the worst
100%
situation,
sitting
especially
around
getting your
waiting.
feet wet again in the major leagues. Like, there's no pressure.
None.
Just go out there and throw.
Just go out and throw strikes.
The game's essentially over.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Ben Fritz or whoever, Niebla or Schilt told him when they called him in, hey, man, just got to get through the end of this game.
Just get us there.
We're trying to just get to the end here.
Yep.
I mean, they had to have
go out.
They had to have an upper limit on the number of pitches he could throw.
Right.
He had never thrown that many in his life, so at some point they were like, "Oh, we might have to pull him out," but he didn't. He got through it, and that was actually big for the Padres. Jake did hit that first inning home run. Thought, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
And then Shane Baz kind of settled in, and that was it for that game. But that really did lead to Sunday's win, 4-3 in a very tense one on Sunday. The one with the series in the balance, close game. Jackson Merrill had that great catch in the 3rd inning. Which was fantastic behind Dylan Cease, and then hit the 2-run home run in the top of the 4th inning. Off a pitcher that had been looking pretty solid. That was a big moment for Jackson Merrill to deliver again for the Padres, his 21st of the season.
That game too, Dylan Cease. I sense some frustration certainly from him, and I sense some from the fan base. And I mean, he really. He comes out and throws 10 balls in a row at one point.
Well, his first 5 innings was
great.
fantastic.
He was
one hit, 1 walk was terrific, and then came back out in the 6th and threw 10 straight balls, 2 walks, threw a strike, and then gave up a single. And the bases were loaded, and that was it. Mike Schilt came and got him at that point. It had to be one of the most frustrating moments of the season, I would think, for Dylan Cease. To know you have a 3-0 lead, you are cruising.
Just lost the plot for a second.
And you just couldn't find the strike zone. Got squeezed on a couple.
Yep.
That had to be one of the most frustrating walks back to the dugout there for Dylan Cease. Jason Adam came in, and he wasn't charged with any of the runs, but he allowed all 3 inherited runners to score. Now, kept it from being any worse, got that double play, but hit by pitch, grounded into double play, wild pitch, and all of a sudden a game that the Padres had well in hand.
It felt in hand, yeah.
Is now 3-3, and you're going, oh no.
Benny texted us. He goes, I'm nervous. I
texted you before that inning.
Yeah, before that inning. He goes, I'm a little bit nervous
because that should have been a bigger lead. It felt like, they're letting him in this one. And there they were. It's 3-3. But Jurickson and Profar got the big sac fly, and the Padres were able to get that win. I mean, Sander Bogart said to go ahead sac fly in the 9th inning.
Eric in the chat says, it's frustrating that we punted on a game we had to have when Arizona is playing L.A. I don't know if he means punted by using Randy Vasquez, which he's in the rotation right now, as we wait for guys to come back. So, or should we have tried harder to win that game? My answer, Eric, has got to be no.
Just because the Diamondbacks are playing the Dodgers doesn't make that game any more important than any of the other 161 other games of the season. Maybe in your mind you feel like, well, one team's going to win and one team's going to lose, but it doesn't really change the equation. You're trying to win the most out of 162 as possible. Yes. And you're managing, if you're Mike Schilt, you're managing to try to win as many of the 162. But to do that, sometimes it requires not winning one or two games. Now, they didn't decide going into this game. We're not going to win this game.
No, they tried to win it.
They were hoping Randy Vasquez could give him some length and keep him in the game, and maybe the offense could come through.
And
it would have been a different story.
You would have seen Jason Adam or whoever.
Yeah, and they had opportunities.
But once it wasn't, the right decision was made to let them wear it and just eat that loss.
Yeah.
I think that was absolutely the right call, and it was proven the next day when they needed their back end of the bullpen. They needed Estrada, Tanner Scott, Robert Suarez in the 7th, 8th, and 9th to keep that game scoreless when it looked like the Rays had the momentum, looked like they were about to come back and steal one. They were able to shut the door, take the lead in the 9th inning, and then win it, a little bit nervous because they were 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Padres did in that game.
Yeah.
12 left on base. Did not come through even once other than a couple of sacrifice flies. And they still won that game. And it was based on what the pitching that they had that they wouldn't have had if they had chased fruitlessly Saturday's game.
Yeah, and, as we've made the point, and Tim follows up in the chat, he burns the bullpen that game. We might not win the next two. You won two very close games the next 2 days. So I'll take those, and we roll, man. You took the series in Tampa. That's what you want to do.
And congratulations to Dylan Cease on Sunday, 200 strikeouts.
Yes.
For the season. Did you guys see what happened there?
Of course.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So he strikes out to end, the 3rd inning. Luis Camposano throws it down to 3rd, the old final out, throw it down to 3rd. And then Manny, he points at Luis, but Luis isn't looking, and Dylan does, and then he's waving, I want that ball, throws it to Manny, and then no, and then Manny throws it into the stands at Tropicana Field.
Cease is waving, hey, and then Manny throws it into the crowd.
And then the heavy Ben sigh when
he was
sees it going into the stands.
And then they got Manny. He went back out onto the field and got the ball back. From the fans.
He's the only guy with 200 Ks. Right now.
No, Tarek Skubal.
In the NL
as well. In the NL,
yeah. Only guy in the NL with 200. That's on Campy. That's not on Manny, I don't think.
He wasn't really looking.
Maybe on both of them.
Campy needs to know.
Was he prepared? Hey, if I get 2 strikeouts this inning, it'll be 200. You need to save that ball.
Dylan also,
I
tell Bo, use your words. He just gave one little, hey. Be demonstrative. Yo, Manny. Nothing.
That's uncool, though.
It is very uncool.
Start yelling out loud, I want the ball, I want that ball.
All right, question. Is it uncool to know you have 199 strikeouts?
I was thinking about this during the game. And while individual achievements certainly are trumped by what the team does,
sure.
I loved why it was important to Dylan Cease. And that is, he is one of the very few pitchers in the game who the last 4 seasons has thrown enough innings and starts to get to 200. And he knows that's what's important in baseball. And the fact that I can get to 200 means I am out there every 5th day helping my team. That's a heck of an accomplishment, and one that he deservedly should be proud of.
So, Manny, what did Manny have to exchange? And
just
another ball?
Just another ball. No, if I'm the fan, I'm going, wait, I got Dylan Cease's
hold on.
200th strikeout ball, and you just
I'm
want to
gonna
give
need
me
a bat.
You just want to give me a batting practice ball?
I need a bat. I need a Manny
more.
bat. Manny's like, great. I got to give this guy one of my sticks because of your 200th strikeout.
You throw it in the stands, though, Manny.
Yeah, but Campy threw it to me.
But he's the captain. He got it back. He did what it took to get it back, and he got it back for Dylan Cease.
He did. Dylan's face, it was like, you think that he just kicked his cat or something. He was like, oh, God. But yeah, it's just kind of an uneven. It was really even until it wasn't there in the sixth inning.
In the chat, horrible negotiation from the Rays fan. I get it, but when Manny Machado's looking at you and asking,
give me the ball
back, what are you gonna do? Like,
just
no,
run.
No, I'm not giving it to you, Manny.
So
That's a tough spot to be in as a fan.
It is.
He wants it back. He just gave it to me.
Good for Dylan for getting that, and they did get him off the hook. Didn't he was
Well, he was never on the line for a loss. He just lost the win,
win.
which is unfortunate.
Yep.
He left the game. He was up 3-0 when he left, but put at Jason Adam in a tough spot there.
Very.
With the bases loaded and nobody out, you figure at least a couple of those guys are coming home. Unfortunately, they all three came home in that situation. But again, Padres win that day. They win yesterday. They win 3 of 4 from Friday to Monday, matching the Dodgers and gaining 2 games on the Diamondbacks to now take the lead in the National League wild card race. All right, we'll come back. Final hour of the Tuesday program. Paulie's got the Reindl Report with some NFL news, some Joey Chestnut news, and more, and the Padres ticket giveaway. All coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Feel bad. He's been a part of the team for a few years now. And unfortunately, with the 40-man roster crunch and everyone coming back, didn't even get a mention yet this morning, but the Padres yesterday DFA'd Jose Azocar to make room on the roster for Fernando Tatis Jr.'s return from the 60-day injured list. Bryce Johnson was also optioned down to AAA. Now, maybe Sugar passes through waivers and remains with the organization. Maybe he opts for free agency and tries his hand with a different team. But there were some moments over the last few years where Sugar came through, either defensively with his legs, had a couple of big moments for the San Diego Padres, and unfortunately they just didn't have any more room for Jose Azocar, and he was DFA'd yesterday.
It's wild, man. Wild, because I can vividly remember, not having anything to talk about in January of last year and talking about what your potential options were for the San Diego
Padres. Did he start the opening day this year?
Merrill did.
Merrill started, Tatis, and Profar. Sugar didn't have to start. Okay.
I don't think so. But I can vividly recall tweets saying, well, just give Sugar a shot in center. How bad could it be? And yeah, man, you look at I don't know what happened. Because he's every bit as good as Bryce Johnson.
I thought so too.
I think, and again, they know so much more than we do. And I don't know what happened. I really don't. I have no idea. But yeah, Sugar DFA'd. So
right when they sent him down, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think he was doing that badly.
Right. I didn't either.
Down he goes, and then never brought him back up, and ends up getting DFA'd yesterday.
I didn't realize he was on the Padres roster all the way up until June 22nd.
Yeah, he was there the first 2.5 months of the year.
He was the defensive replacement for Profar early in the season. That Cubs series, we all remember that. And Profar's spot came back up, and Sugar, all that. But yeah, I mean, look, it's just a guy. And somebody makes a point. The pinch runner job he used to have was taken by Tyler Wade, who's much faster. I died the other night, by the way. Did you guys die when he put Tyler Wade in the pinch run for Crony at third? I couldn't believe it. Now, my fat ass takes a non-runner because I can't run. If I hit a triple, I'm going to stay at third.
Now, Xander's fly ball would have scored Jake easily as well, and the throw was, 40 feet over the head of the catcher.
Jose Siri uncorking
So
that.
it's a 3-3 game.
Yep.
And if it comes down to it, and there's a play at the plate, don't you want that extra step and a half that you're getting from Tyler Wade? I mean, it might be the difference between a win and a loss. That's aggressive managing to make sure even the smallest detail, you can go ahead and win that game. Now, if you don't score and Jake's spot comes back up, and now you've got Tyler Wade in the lineup. Or defensively,
no, for defense, it was defense, and so we all saw Xander move over to short for a couple innings, and they put Tyler at second for Jake, and I just thought to myself, now again, it wasn't the wrong move. We won the game. It surprised me knowing how much Schulte values defense and how good Crony is defensively that he would say this 90 feet. Which, by the way,
I just think in that moment he was valuing that run more than defense, which is rare, but
it's
possible.
rare because you're on the road and you still have to get 3 outs and you have to have defensive guys out there.
Yeah, but
if
you're
at
3 outs
home,
don't matter.
I get it.
They don't matter as much if you don't get that run.
Now,
across.
if they're already up 4-3 and that's an insurance run, I don't think you do it. Okay. But because you're tied and you need that run to win, again, maybe you do.
Not saying it was the wrong move by any stretch. Don't get me wrong. I was surprised when it happened, and I actually thought for a sec, he might have tweaked something. You know what I mean? That was my thought because I just said, Crony's fast enough, he's going to score on a fly ball.
We always like to imagine as fans that there is a right decision and a wrong decision.
Right.
But a lot of the decisions are 50-50 or 49-51.
Sure.
52-48. I mean, it's really small, and it comes down to, when you're next level, and I'm sure Mike Schulte could explain this better than I am, but you're thinking, Xander Bogaerts can hit a fly ball, but they're not always the deepest of flies. Is he the guy that might hit that mid-level fly ball that
Tyler scores
it could be a difference between a step or two with Tyler Wade? And maybe if it's Manny, you go, if he hits a fly ball, it's going to be plenty deep enough to score the run. I don't need the pinch runner there. But with Xander, maybe I do. He's got a little less power, a little less pop. I don't know. Is that part of the equation?
I want to ask him about that Friday and just say, please walk us through it, because I did think it was funny as hell when I was like, "Oh, they're pinch running a guy." You don't see a lot of that unless it's like a big lumbering dude, and it was a close game.
But they didn't do it earlier when he was on base, so,
right?
Like what made the decision for you when he got to third?
Yeah, it was wild. I just thought that was one of those moments that gets kind of lost in the shuffle, and I thought that's really interesting play by Mike Schilt, who values defense very, very much. And so it's that you definitely are weaker with Tyler Wade playing second than you are with Jake Cronenworth.
9:05, Paulie, take it away.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good morning,
A little late
gentlemen.
on the all right.
Yeah.
Had the mic turned off.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right, gentlemen, we'll start off in the NFL. Pretty wild and scary scene for San Francisco 49ers rookie.
Oh, my God.
Ricky Pearsall, who was shot in the chest over the weekend. I think it was on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. He was in downtown San Francisco, and it was an attempted robbery over his watch, I believe.
Yeah, it was over his Rolex, and he was
Rollie?
he was on his way to go sign autographs somewhere.
Or I think he just had
or
signed
he just
autographs,
signed,
yeah.
and somebody tried to jack him.
Rob him, and it ended up with him, and I think a couple other people were shot. And I saw a video of him getting into the chair that they would lift him into the ambulance.
He walked
and
to the ambulance.
He was shirtless, and he had his whatever T-shirt he was wearing was pressed up
Plugged-
against his chest.
Yes.
And the nurse, the EMT was just holding it there as he's like sitting in and getting into the ambulance. And you're like, this man is holding his T-shirt over his bullet wound in his chest.
He walked to the
It was
ambulance.
through and through. It went in his chest, through his torso, out his back, and did not hit your heart, your
Any
aorta.
vital organs.
You're dead. But luckily for him, it passed through, did not hit any vital organs, and he's going to be okay.
Really?
They said, I saw this morning, they said, may miss 4 games. 4 games.
ESPN said out at least 4 games.
At least 4 games.
But he has been released from the hospital. He's on the mend. But God dang, that is scary.
I mean, they haven't told all of the details other than a robbery gone wrong or confrontation, but it was the attacker was also shot with the same gun.
Yeah,
so
with his gun.
To me, I'm imagining the old movie scene where they're fighting.
Well, it says
they're now fighting over the gun, and it goes off a couple of times, and like crazy.
Was shot near Union Square Saturday afternoon after a 17-year-old male attempted to rob him, resulting in a struggle between the two, according to the San Francisco Police Department. And then both he and the suspect were shot. So yeah, it was kind of like they're like struggling for the gun or something. But man, that is scary.
By the way, just a little breaking 49ers news this morning. Mentioned last week, Brandon Ayuk got signed. Trent Williams' holdout is over. The Niners are finalizing a new deal this morning with Trent Williams, putting their star left tackle in position to play in Monday's season opener against the New York Jets.
Taking care of all those guys. CeeDee Lamb last week,
Yep.
the Cowboys. Saw a quote from over the weekend, Jerry Jones saying, "You're about to have a buttload of money," or something like that. To CeeDee Lamb. He's like, "Careful, just be," he's like giving
Be careful.
the fatherly advice, just be careful.
It's almost as if none of these guys just wanted to be in training camp and just wanted to skip the whole thing.
Such a
and
good
sign.
bit.
If it works, it works, man.
Can we hold out from the last day of the World Series until first day of spring training? Yeah, we're just going to hold out. That's where we are.
We want more money.
Yeah. It's a good bit.
All right, moving on. Yesterday was big day for Netflix, Labor Day, holiday, everybody home, and they had a live event, which those are few and far between for Netflix. They're still dabbling in the live events, whether it's a comedy show. The Roast of Tom Brady was a live Netflix event. And we had Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut, hot dog eating contest, GOAT v. GOAT. Yep. And they did it live. It was the first time that those two have gone head to head in 15 years. 2009 was the last time both competitive eaters went at each other. And Joey Chestnut demolished.
Did he?
Kobayashi.
Wipe the floor. Did you guys watch it?
I did not.
I saw highlights
saw
later.
a highlight after
I actually
the fact.
showed some on Channel 10 last night.
I had forgotten that was happening until it had already come and gone. But yeah, Joey Chestnut in 10 minutes threw down 83 hot dogs.
World record.
Broke his own record.
Yeah.
Kobayashi had 66,
which is
in
insane.
that time.
66 is insane. 83. That's 8.3 hot dogs per minute.
That's bun and all, everything.
Bun and all.
Did he dip?
Yeah.
He had the cup of water.
Lemonade?
I don't know what they drink.
I heard it's
think
lemonade.
Is it really?
We had Joey Chestnut on like 3 or 4
we
years
did,
ago.
didn't we?
We did?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
I got his number. Yeah, we had him on.
We did.
He's somehow related to Tabitha Lipkin, like uncle or cousin or something. She hooked it up.
Vague.
She was like, "Yeah, do you guys want to talk to?" It was a pandemic interview. We're like, "Hell yeah, we'll talk to Joey."
What always
Chestnut.
strikes me about the hot dog eating competition is that you're turning something that is inherently pretty pleasurable. I enjoy eating a good hot dog. You do as well,
Yeah.
Woods?
Glizzy?
Into something that looks so miserable. I mean, Joey is pouring sweat and his stomach is distended and he just looks
he did a bite and then
absolutely
just chugged some water
miserable,
and-
shoving
Ugh.
hot dogs into his face at a rate of 1 every 8 seconds and just downing. It looks like the most miserable experience ever for something that when you have one, really great. It's really great to eat a hot dog. Eating 83 of them in 10 minutes might be the worst thing that you could ever do.
Too much of a good thing.
Could you eat 83 hot dogs in a month?
No.
I don't think I could.
I couldn't. I
It'd be
mean,
tough.
that's
It'd be
more than 2
2.5.
a day.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'm like, I
10
have
minutes.
I have like a hot dog a month. One. And even then, though, like I get halfway through it and I'm like, you start to think, what am I eating? It ain't good.
I don't care about what I'm eating. I feel like once I've had one, I'm good for at least a few weeks.
Yeah, it's like insta heartburn for me too, every single time. So I'm. But yeah, this guy Eric said in the chat, eating contests are gross and idiotic. I agree.
I agree.
I really agree. I think so many people don't have food. It's like, watch how much I could eat. Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But I guess you got to tip your cap to the GOAT. He is truly the best.
Did your
at what he
parents
does.
ever, when you didn't finish your plate, pull the old, there are starving children in Africa?
All the time.
And you didn't finish your food?
Things have changed, man, as far as parenting goes.
Well, the problem is that finishing your plate is probably not the healthiest thing that you can do in the world.
But think about when you're a kid.
Right.
There's 3 pieces of chicken, 3 green beans, and 4 grapes. And my kid's like, every night. Every single night is the fight of my life. And now should I put her on blast? I can wait. I'll do it at 9:35 and put my wife on such hardcore blast. Such 9:35. I'll tell you what's happening in our household. It's food related. She's so dead right now.
Stay tuned
So
for
dead.
that.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
All right, and then finally, I don't know how big of a deal this is, but it's one of my long-time suspicions has been confirmed. I have an Apple iPhone with Siri. I have a couple of Alexa devices in our home. Active listening from your devices. It's a real thing, and it's been confirmed now. Because for you to tell your Alexa to do something, they have to be listening even for the words, hey, Alexa.
Right.
You have to be, the device has to always be listening for that. And I've had friends that work for Amazon up and down, they're like, oh, trust me, it doesn't catch everything. It has to activate it with, I'm like, but it is listening for that command either way. Well, Cox Media Group, television, radio conglomerate, they kind of leaked something to investors. It was in a pitch deck.
Great.
They leaked about their active listening software that they can listen to pretty much every conversation being had if you have any of their products, any of their devices, and then market towards whatever interests you. And this literally happened to me. I mean, it happens all the time. But I remember within the last week, I bought some sunglasses. And I was looking around, trying to decide which brand to buy my sunglasses. I had not touched my phone yet. I was just sitting on the couch talking to my wife about said brand. I went with Ray-Bans. When I opened my phone, again, had not looked anything up, every 4th Instagram post was Ray-Bans.
Sure.
And I go, they're listening.
Happens to me all the time.
They are listening.
And I end up buying.
They've heard
80% of the
everything.
time. Right.
Kind of creepy.
Cox put that out?
Well, it got leaked.
That's not new, though, is it?
It's confirming what we thought.
What we are deepest
They were
fears.
pitching to their investors, hey, look at this active listening software that we use.
I want to see what is on his phone.
Like what ads I'm getting? I'm just trying to look.
Let's see what ads.
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes?
NFL Sunday ticket. Allergy medication.
It's like Matt says in the chat, it's delightfully convenient. It kind of creeps me out when it happens.
I do get I get a lot, and I don't know why. I think it's because of this show, because our phones are here while we're talking about things. A lot of ads for sex toys in my feed. A lot of them.
That's weird because I don't get any.
I don't get any of those. I'm in
Really?
the same room
Correct.
for the
In
same amount of time as you.
Same amount of time.
I've never bought one online. Or in person, actually.
I don't get those.
You don't?
Nope. Not even.
What do you get?
Not even a little. Ads on what? Instagram?
Or Twitter?
My Twitter ads? Or,
pull up Instagram.
The one time I don't have any ads. I'll do Instagram. What kind of toys are you? All right. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, sorry.
Wow. What's...
Don't know what
Got
that
some
was.
real estate ads.
Here's a shirt. T-shirts. I buy a lot of T-shirts.
Here's what I get on Instagram. My first one is Granger. Because, of course, every single week I welcome everybody for the Brett Boone segment brought to you by Granger. For the ones who get things right. Granger. Of course, my first ad is for Granger here on Instagram.
I got one for a cold plunge tub that's $2,000.
You guys were talking about cold plunges.
Yep.
Earlier during a break.
We have. Here's an audio. It makes recording music so easy. I'm not a recording.
Sydney Sweeney.
Here's one if you've been diagnosed with leukemia, Consumer Justice Now. We were talking about leukemia this morning when we talked about Kirk Herbstreit's dog.
That's true.
Ben,
We're in here.
who had leukemia, and he takes him to all of his games and everything. So
Little League bats here. That makes sense. And clothes. I get a lot of clothes in mine.
So just know that
They're
wherever
listening.
you're at, they're listening.
Okay.
And this is not just phones, but smart devices in your home and everywhere.
Now, did you guys see Hannah in the chat?
No.
I said,
Is
I'm
she
putting-
defending herself
no,
already?
I put her on. I said I'm putting her on blast at 9:30 or at 9:35, and she said, "Oh, I have a Botox appointment at 9:30. Super convenient. Put me on blast at 9:35." She's so dead. You guys, I think you'll have my side on this one. I really do.
Was that timed perfectly? For
I
you?
didn't. I knew there was an appointment. I forgot, but I think you guys will really have my back here. I hope so.
Curious. I can't.
Hannah
even,
scares me.
Just
She's
wait.
dead though. She's dead on this one. I finally feel like I have the upper hand here. Finally, it's only been a decade. You guys will get a kick out of it.
All right, don't go anywhere. Sometime in our next segment, we're going to move away those Padres tickets for tomorrow's game. And then Woods puts Hannah on blast. And then Annie and Elston at 10 o'clock on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. was doing a little starting pitching projection into the future, and subject change, of course. But remember, the Padres dodged Paul Skeens in the 2 series against the Pittsburgh Pirates last month.
Paul Skeens ducked the Padres.
That's
That's
true,
another
too.
way to put it.
Coward.
He's pitching today. Is that true?
I think so.
But as I was doing the projections, it looks like the Padres are going to miss Blake Snell in both series against the San Francisco Giants. 2 3-game series. And right now he's scheduled to pitch tomorrow before they come to town. And then he'll pitch again next Wednesday because they have some off days as well. And they will just dodge them when they go back to San Francisco, which means if that holds, Padres will never face Blake Snell this year.
Fine by me.
I was kind of, in the division, I was sort of expecting a Blake Snell matchup, a reunion at some point. But in the pennant race, again, he's been throwing really, really well. Not the worst thing if you miss him a couple of times. Now, the Padres are going to have Yu Darvish going tomorrow as he returns from the injured list in Game 2 of the series against the Tigers. And then they're going to move up, I believe I saw, Martin Perez into Thursday's game, which will give not only Michael King a full week off between starts, but then with 2 off days coming up next week, he'll miss the entire next series against the Mariners and won't pitch for another week plus until his following start.
Okay.
So he'll have 2 weeks and just 1 start in those 2 weeks based on how the Padres are reworking their starting rotation with Yu Darvish coming back tomorrow and Perez going to pitch, I think, on Thursday against the Tigers. That's clearly a way that they are trying to stretch out the innings of Michael King and keep him fresh going into the postseason, knowing he's already, pushing career highs and career limits. He's over. He's over the major league career high, and I think he's right at minor league, major league combined career high for most innings thrown.
I like what he said. He goes, "I feel good, and I'm not thinking about it." He's just gonna pitch when they tell him to pitch, and as long as he's feeling good, yeah. I mean, some people make the jump. We saw it. We saw it with Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo has done a phenomenal job at making the jump from reliever and wherever they used him in New York to what he did with San Diego and now what he's done with Kansas City. But today, as you look through the Major League Baseball schedule, now we're off. That means we get to kick up our feet as fans and just root like hell for the Boston Red Sox, which is always fun to do. We're also going to root for the Chicago Cubs.
They're playing the New York Mets.
They are playing the Mets.
Yeah.
We're going to be rooting hard for the Chicago Cubs today in Wrigley Field. Paul Skeens will take on the Cubs.
No, oh, yeah, well...
I love Paul Skeens.
The Cubs are kind of back in the
kind
playoff
of
race,
in it.
though.
They're kind of in it, but don't you
They're
want...
only 3.5 back. Now, that's
okay, Cubs could still
Braves.
lose, and Paul Skeens doesn't.
That would be the best outcome.
Yeah, Paul Skeens pitches poorly.
Paul Skeens pitches poorly, but the Pirates come back and win late in that game.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not too worried about the Cubs, but just pointing it out that they're still in it, actually.
The Dodgers are taking on the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels.
That's a rivalry game.
Okay.
Walker Buehler's, I think, pitching today. He has not thrown well.
He pitched okay last time. He had a couple errors behind him that kind of set him back.
And we're Giants fans tonight.
We are Giants fans tonight. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's going to be Ryan Nelson against undecided for San Francisco right now. So, yeah, we're big Giants fans. That's going to be the late
Bob
game.
Melvin's pondering that as we speak.
Yes, he is.
Who am I going to start to lose by 1 run tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks?
The Diamondbacks don't win by 1. So
no, they win. They win by like 11.
They win by 11 or 12, seemingly or they lose by 11 or 12, which they did the other day.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit with Sammy. We were talking about it off the air before our show started. Talked about it all week last week. Who do you root for?
Yeah,
4-game series, and I'm never going to say I'm rooting for the team up north, but I was absolutely rooting for the Diamondbacks to lose because right now.
So you were rooting for the Dodgers.
I didn't say that. Those are your words.
So if you say I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks to lose when they play the Dodgers,
I am rooting for the Padres to get the number 1 wild card seed. I would love to win the division. That's a little bit further of a reach right now. You got the 3 games in LA to wrap up the season, and then followed by the final 3 games in Arizona. You do not want to have the off day and then stay in Arizona for those 3 games. There are no back and forth road trips during that first round of the playoffs, the wild card round. I want all 3 of those games at home.
Yep.
I don't care if that means pitching Dylan Cease on Sunday to
get
clinch
there.
it. because then he can still probably give you something on Wednesday, or it'd be like
Thursday,
I think,
game 3.
Game 3.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get home games. It's huge for the organization, playoff ticket revenue. Us.
Want to get down there and party with you guys wherever we might be.
Like, the next round, if you can make it past and get into the divisional round, then you're guaranteed at least a home game.
Sure.
Nothing's guaranteed in that wild card round. I think it is the most important thing for the Padres right now to make sure they get at least the number 1 wild card.
Brandon in the chat says Bomel can help the Padres for the first time in 2 years tonight. Oh my God, that's cutting and fairly accurate.
By the way, not focused as much on the American League, but the biggest series in baseball is the Cleveland Guardians and the Kansas City Royals in that very tight AL Central as they go tonight. Tanner Bibby against Brady Singer in that game in Kansas City.
It's a fun one.
So that's also a big one. All right, if you want to go to the game tomorrow night, though, now's your time to call in and win. 833-288-0973. Let's make it the 5th caller. Right now, going to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Padres-Tigers game. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free City Connect hoodie. Go to Padres.com/tickets for details. But call now to win a pair. 833-288-0973. Did see the Padres are projecting, based on remaining ticket sales and the remaining 11 home games, that they will break the all-time attendance record that is held since last year when they set the all-time attendance record at Petco Park. Pretty good considering how badly last season went. You thought, well, they won't have the kind of attendance this year that they had last year. No, they're going to break it. Have even more fans coming in and supporting this team. And they've been rewarded this year with a playoff contender.
100%.
All right, well, good
Shout
luck.
out SD.
Good luck, Paulie. You'll pick up some phones during the break, and then when we come back, my Woods is putting Hannah on blast.
This could be it.
As she heads in for Botox.
This could be it.
Does this have anything to do with Bo being toxic at home?
I don't get it.
Botox, toxic Bo
Just go to break.
with kids? No? All right. We'll be back on 97.3 The Fan.
Who won the tickets, Paulie?
Trevor,
congratulations. Going to go see Yu Darvish back on the bump.
Wasn't Trevor Hoffman, was it?
It was not Trevor Hoffman. I think he's set for tickets.
He usually has pretty good seats when I see him.
Yeah,
at the
he
games.
has really good seats. Trev, we're always here for you. If you want to bring the fellas to a game, anytime. I'll buy the beers. I think the beers are free down there, actually. So
I don't know that Trevor Hoffman has to buy a lot of beers.
I'll give the tip.
At Petco Park.
I'll pay the tip. How about that? Just the tip. I'd love to go to a game with Trevor Hoffman, almost more than anything.
So Trevor oftentimes sits behind the home plate,
Yeah.
or I've seen him in the owner's box.
Sure, it's Trevor
But if he
Hoffman.
actually just walked to a concession stand and said,
He'd get killed.
"Can I have a beer?" Would they make him pay for it? I feel like they'd have to. Or would the person who just works
someone in line would
Delaware
pay for
North.
his beer. Someone in line.
Yeah, but if no one paid for his beer, would the person working there go, "Just take it. Like, it's your Trevor. Just take it. You want a beer? Here's a beer." They would know, right?
I'm going to text him right now.
I want to know.
I'm going to text him. When's the last time you paid for a beer at Petco Park?
I really hope we get an answer in the next 15 minutes.
He takes like a month to text me.
That's all right. Well, that's a good tease. So coming up in early October, we'll get the answer to that question from Trevor Hoffman.
JH619 says, no, that's stealing. No, he's not stealing beer.
No, someone gives it to you. It's not stealing.
Trevor running around drinking half-empty beers on the concourse.
It's embezzling.
It's embezzlement. Embezzling. That's right.
Like, do they even still have they have the Randy Jones grill? I think still on the main concourse.
Yeah.
Like, does Randy Jones, if he wants a hot dog,
I mean,
he's like, my name's literally on the stand.
We
buddy.
buy our own merch, so I mean, that's what you do.
When we were first doing the pre and the post game show, Craig and I were very poor, like making no money. Randy would always take us under his wing. He said, "Come eat on scholarship tonight," and would bring us to his barbecue stand and hook us up with food. Yeah,
really.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet. That makes me love him more.
When I was first starting out in radio, I was on the promotions team at the Mighty 1090, and part of my duties was the post game show at Lolita's, where I just had to pretty much just sit there for an hour and have some stickers on the table, and they had the speakers so you could hear inside of the restaurant, and I had to lug all of that crap.
Yep, done it.
6 blocks down because you had to park
way a mile
they don't give
away.
you good parking when you're on the promo team.
No,
and I mean, I'm hauling this cart through East Village. It's 11 o'clock at night, and a truck pulls up, and I just hear, "What in the hell are you doing?" It was Randy Jones. He got out, helped me load. He threw everything in the back of his truck and drove me in my car.
Angel,
I love that.
Sweet
man.
angel.
He's a good guy.
Higgy, you and Elston get over there and get you a plate.
You're on scholarship.
Get over there and fix you a plate.
Good old RJ.
Oh, here he goes.
Oh, wow. That was a quick month.
Comes with my seats that I pay for. It's gotten more expensive, but listen.
Oh, so he's buying his own
He's
seats,
buying his
though.
own
So,
seats.
yeah, then
Sweet
he's paying
angel.
for the beers because they come with the charge with the seats.
All right, well,
But
listen.
he never wanders around and orders one while he's there? I guess not.
No, I don't
wouldn't.
think you'd
I mean,
have
if
to.
I've already paid for it, I'm not going to go in.
I sat in those seats with you one time. You didn't want to leave. You
No,
did not
of course
move.
not.
Everything was free. He's sucking down Cracker Jacks and everything he could get his
That's
hands
exactly the sound I made.
on. He did too. He lost his mind that night. Well, speaking of food, this is where I have to drop the hammer on my beloved wife.
That's
After
coming
traffic.
up right after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
I knew that.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Still a bit of a challenge out of the South Bay this morning. Got a collision northbound 5 Mile of Carsway. It's got that right lane blocked. Northbound 805 before the 54 collision involving several vehicles. Everything is over to the right shoulder. North 15's got this crash at the eastbound King Freeway connector. It's over to the right shoulder. We also have a collision on westbound King Freeway at Spring Street. No details as to where that is blocking any lanes. South 163 still seeing a little residual slowing from this earlier crash before Friars Road. Now we're getting reports of another accident up ahead. This is right before the 5 car and motorcycle involved. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and find your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm still impressed that Trevor buys his own seats. There's a statue of him at Petco Park. You should never have to buy a ticket to a place where there's a statue of you.
He's in part responsible for the construction.
Very large
Petco
part responsible for it.
Yeah, I think if you have a statue, you get tickets, right?
I think so too. Wherever you want.
Man, I mean that's listen, that's how you make money. You got to keep making money.
So.
I get it. All right,
so don't feel bad, everybody else.
I'm very nervous for this next segment.
You should be. All right, so what's the number one thing you guys argue with your spouses about? Number one.
Dinner.
That should be,
Dinner.
Should be a very
clear, but
clear and present situation.
I would say 90% of our, I don't want to say arguments, but
no arguments.
Disagreements.
Yeah.
It's, what do you want to do for dinner? What are we making for dinner?
Yes.
Where are we going for dinner? Like, what are we ordering for dinner? Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Dinner.
It's dinner.
For me, it's not paying attention or listening carefully enough.
It's weird because that's my number one gripe with you too, but that's for another day. We have a consultant meeting tomorrow. We'll be addressing that tomorrow at 10:15. All right.
I already know I have a problem with it.
That's my number one.
You don't need to keep bringing it up. I know I have a problem with it.
This is going to be like me observing you two
in marriage counseling.
I acknowledge I have a problem with it. I do.
So a few months ago. Well, and I've told you guys the struggles that we have with food in our house. It's not uncommon.
You might have. I'm not sure if I was listening.
You probably weren't paying attention. It all comes, it's more difficult when you got the kids because they're very picky. So I told you guys there was a time there I was doing all the cooking and everything else, and I turned into a short order cook. One kid wants a grilled cheese, the other wants a chicken and whatever, and then Hannah wants something totally different, and then I wanted something different. So we hit like it was like a pretty gnarly fight actually a few months ago, and she said, "What I need from you, I need you to handle all the food in our house, and I mean lunches, grocery shopping, dinners." She goes, "I don't want to make the kids lunches. You do it." And I said, "Done. Will this put an end to this strife?" And she said, "Yes." We had it. We pitched it to the counselor. This is what she asked. I said, "I've got it. I'm taking the reins." So then I dropped the hammer and said, "Don't buy any more snacks. You don't ever have to set foot in a grocery store again. Your old pal Woods has got you. All right? I'm buying all the snacks. I'm buying all the fruit. I'm buying all the food. I'll handle dinner." And I said, "Do you mind? What if I get it, farm it out, and I get a service?" She said, "Whatever. I just want dinner covered." So I did some exhaustive research, and I found a company that provides healthy-ish meals, and I said I'm doing it, and I did it.
I've done the meal prep service.
And this is a good one.
Weekly deliveries.
They taste fantastic. They look pretty healthy.
Healthy-ish is a great spot to be.
Healthy-ish.
If it's all just healthy.
If it's all just...
No one's ever going to be happy.
Brown rice, broccoli, and chicken every night.
Meal,
right.
You're going to get tired of that. You need ish.
So they have variety. It's great. So I bite the bullet, and I say, I'm doing it. So I do it. And I have taken over all the lunches, all the grocery shopping. I'm still in the GD store 4 days a week. The turkey goes bad over the weekend. I got to buy a new... so I'm getting the kids dialed in. So the meals are coming. I'm not hearing a peep. No one's arguing. Everyone's just sitting down eating their meal. Last week, I go, "Hey, how was that?" to my wife. And she said, she goes, "Eh." And I go, "Oh, boy, here we go." And she's, "What?" It wasn't good. There's too much fat in it. And I went, "All right, what would you like me to do?" She goes, "Well, I'd like to help select the meals every week." And I go, "But whoa. Remember when you said, I don't want anything to do. I just want dinner in front of me and I will eat it." And I said, that was a quote. And she said, "Yes, I do remember that." And I said, "Now we have to get together and select the meals every week." Fine. So yesterday we get together to select the meals. About 3 minutes of selecting. Just leave me out this week. I go, "What?" And she goes, "Just leave me out." I go, "What are you going to eat?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'll figure it out." I go, "But you won't. So I go, "Do you want me to make you something every night?" She goes, "Well, I mean, that'd be nice." So now the meals are bought. I have to make her something special. I'm losing my mind. So I told her, I said, "I don't know what to do at this point." But I said, "You are," and I looked at her and I said, "In our time of regulating our emotions," I said, "I love you so much but you are massively frustrating to deal with when it comes to this. Massively. I handled it, man. It was all done. Everything was done. And now it's just not what she wants. So I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss.
Well, I would say you can't ever turn off your opinions about food. Either you like it or you don't. It's satisfying, it's what you want, or it's not what you want. Now, I think hopefully she still appreciates everything you've done.
She doesn't.
But she can still not really like the food. That you can't really control that.
She said, I didn't feel great after I ate it that one
But
time.
see, that's not her fault.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. No, it's not your fault either. But what are she supposed to just never say anything again and go,
yes,
I guess I'm just going to eat?
She told me that. She told me that's what she was going to do.
But she didn't know that it wasn't going to be something that was going to make her feel
I'm sweating.
Not great.
But she told me, I just want it in front of me. And again, it's not like I'm feeding her like giant plates of
if all you were having is mac and cheese with hot dogs cut up in it every night, then maybe there's more, reason to complain. But again, you could be eating something fully healthy, but if it doesn't react well with your system, you can't just keep eating it. You have to say something.
So Megan says, make some stuff ahead of time. So I've done that. We've done I'm going to cook a bunch of, and then what happens? I don't want to eat this again. Let's just get DoorDash, whatever. I get these things. They come to the house, and they're different. We have pork one night, chicken one night, blah, blah, blah. You told me to just handle it and get it out of the way.
We use the meal prep service kind of as the catalyst to finding that solution, and it worked. We did it for, I don't know, a couple of months, and then we're like, okay, we're back on track. We can handle it now.
Patrick says you're going to get burnt out. Maybe you do 5 days and she does 2. Yeah, I mean, the weekends are kind of a crapshoot. Whoever has their kids, you handle their meals, but the weekends don't count. Monday through Friday, she wants the lunches made. No problem. I enjoy making the kids' lunches. I actually kind of enjoy it. No problem there. Enjoy shopping for them, getting them what they want. No problem. The dinner, though. So now she goes, well, I would be happy just going back to eating ground beef and rice and veggies. I go, yeah, but those two dudes aren't going to. So now we've gone from I've got to go buy this, cook it, and then I have to cook something for them as well. I'm back to Woodsy, the diner owner, taking short orders. I don't know what to do.
I mean, what I've done, and my program, my sdfatloss.com, helped me. I meal prep usually 4 days a week.
Right.
And it's the same thing, but I don't necessarily eat it all 4 days in a row. I may break it up with one day.
So imagine not only you doing that. Ben, if I was single, I would look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. I have no problem doing that.
Same thing every day.
I've got 3 other differing opinions. If you made that.
Yeah, I'm only making it for myself.
One is
I can,
One is no problem, but it's the 4. And so now she goes, well, just take me off. So I took her off. I'm like, so what are you going to eat next week? You got no meals coming. So we'll see. And I just, holy cow. Jimmy Jam says, remind the wife she's not a princess. She can figure it out herself. That'll go really far.
Try that.
I will.
So what did she take on when you took on the food? Was there a trade, a quid
She does
pro
all the
quo?
laundry. She does all the laundry.
Laundry.
And there's a ton of it for 3 dudes. There's a ton. I change outfits 4 times a day, probably. So she does that. And, really runs the household for the most part. But the food was the one thing she wanted off
Maybe
the
it
plate.
would be worth it for you then to just make a little extra special meal for her. Just enjoy your nicely folded laundry. And think about that when you're putting on your 4 outfits a day.
Jimmy Jam
Mr.
nails it.
Changing
They're
clothes.
factor meals. They're so good. I look forward to them. I eat 2 of them a day. They're fantastic. Yeah, I'll get her Lunchables, Dan. Pluck down some Lunchables in front of her. Oh, man. Yeah, personal chef Woods here. I don't know what to do. But she's wrong, yeah, when she told me. I'm right and she's wrong. That's what I want to get to the gist of. She told me, you handle it, and I won't say a word.
I will say
it's been
that
2 weeks.
She's not on firm footing here, but you can't help. I mean, you either like food or you don't. And you can't just keep eating food that you don't like and is not sitting well with you. So at some point, you did have to say something. And I can get why it's frustrating for you, though.
I'm going to pull my hair out.
I know. I can see that.
Well, I'm off to the grocery store. Have a fantastic
Get some
day.
Stouffer's Welsh Rarebit on toast and throw on a little tomato and a bacon.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Really.
She'll love it. She will love it.
Fantastic for Welsh Rarebit Day today.
Yes.
Speaking of the Welsh, I believe we're going to have a Welsh guest in studio.
Yeah, there'll be
tomorrow,
a Welshman in here tomorrow.
which will be fantastic. It'll be a guest-heavy Wednesday. Jesse Agler will join us for a little Wednesday Incorporator since there's no game today. We've moved that back to tomorrow. And it's also a Big League Wednesday with Adam Jones and Brett Moon.
We are busy beavers.
Both scheduled to join the program tomorrow. So that'll be a very busy Wednesday. That's tomorrow, though. Now you've got Annie and Elston with plenty to talk about from the holiday weekend coming up for the next 4 hours. For Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.